Blaised. Blaised. Get blazed. Get blazed. Blaised. Get blazed. Yo, everybody. It's your boy, Blaise McCoy. We are live with another interview here on the channel, and it's about time to get blazed, everybody. What do you say? Well, we're going to have fun with this one. It's a highly anticipated one for me. I know, sorry, I've been blasting the Daze of Blaze and the Blaised Daze on Twitter every damn day this week, but it's well worth it, man. This guy, I totally expected to say no when I asked him to interview because he's very busy, and he has grown like crazy on YouTube. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to do the kind of the same format, but I got a couple little surprises, of course, for this special guest, but I could not do this without you guys in a live chat, so let's see who's there. Wally, there he is. Wally. Everybody loves Wally. Brendan in the building. Great to see some Wrestling Daze people coming over. You guys have seen me in the chat for a while over there on Daze's channel. Glad to see you guys popping in here and checking out the channel. If you do like what's going on, like Brendan says, hit that thumbs up. It's absolutely free. Oh, well, don't break it. Everyone says smash the like button, smash it. Don't smash it. You can gently press the like button. It still works, my friends. I appreciate y'all. Big Tito in the house. PFW Monstar. You didn't have to show up. I'd rather you did not show up, to be honest. I'm just kidding. Always ball busting. That's what we do around here, having fun. Austin says he is here. I'm waiting for Legend Killer to come in and say, are you watching Daze's interview? Yes, I'm watching. Austin, great to see you, my friend. So now you can put a big ugly face to the name Blaised Radio. I always say, whether you're laughing with me or at me, you're smiling. Big ears, big nose. You can make fun of them all you want. Obviously, I'm bald. I like to say casually shaven, maybe. I don't know. But we're not here about me. And to be honest, even the guests coming in, it's not totally about them. It's about everyone. It's about the community. I say it's corny. I want to put unity back into the community. I'm not bringing people on here unless I support them, and I think they are doing amazing work here on YouTube. And I want to share the love. I want you guys to meet people from my community. I want my community to meet you guys. I actually met someone from my community on Daze's stream years ago. Edward's in the house. Great to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. There he is, Brooklyn Joker. I actually met him on a Wrestling Daze stream before I started streaming. We'll talk a little bit about there. Trey Gaming is in the building. There he is. Welcome in. Welcome in. Troxville Sports Streams. Well, he busted to get Blaze Cherry, if you will. The first interview with Grid and Trox was a couple weeks ago now. And they do their NFL watch-alongs over there on their channels. They have exploded on the scene with the last couple years. Definitely check that one. And Big Daddy Beard Gaming, who is, he likes to say, your favorite gamer's favorite gamer. Very real, very down-to-earth. You're not going to see people on here that are loaded with clickbait and yelling and screaming and all that crazy stuff. I mean, you might see Heel Blaze come out a little bit. I don't know. I try to be a bad guy. I'm not good at it. I'm good at bad jokes, though. Like dad jokes, corny jokes, stuff like that. You guys that know me know that's where I come from. Dylan McClure is in a building. There he is. Welcome in, my friend. You guys can share this out to your friends. Rob Bass. It takes two to make a thing go. We're going to come back and talk about you a little later on. Your song is amazing. I appreciate you, Rob Bass, in the building. Savvy One's in the house. Another one that frequent the Daze channel, and now I've met and I've known to love him, man, from my San Diego brethren out there. Good to see you. Welcome in. You guys keep that chat popping. There is a poll up in the chat. Yeah, my poll is up. It's not because I'm glad to see you either. So check out the poll, ladies and germinals. I want to know who your favorite wrestling promotion is. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be, but I'm more interested in to see who picks the other ones, because there's a lot going on in pro wrestling. And what I like to say right now is, what a great time to be a pro wrestling fan, right? Oh, we got someone from over in France. There he is. Underscore my underpants, I like to call him. There, my buddy over there. Good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen Sabri Al Reed, my friend. Great to see you. It's been a minute, but it doesn't matter if I've seen you since day one or you're just coming around. I always like to say it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, or how you are. You're more than welcome here on my channel. It's an all-inclusive channel. Differences are beautiful. We embrace them. We dig into each other and have some fun, but you bet you dupa we're going to have some fun. That's my grandmother's word, dupa. It's become a famous thing here. It means butt, if you don't know. I bet you dupa we're going to have some fun, y'all. There he is, Jesse Jack Hammer in the building. Welcome in, my friend. Who farted in the building? I don't know. I mean, you might want to smell yourself to find out who did it. It might have been you. I know who that is. You change your name, and I still dig it. It's funny. I dig it. Creative names is something on YouTube. And we'll talk about myself a little bit. I don't want to talk about myself too long, but if you're starting YouTube, and we're going to have a lot of tips and tricks and stuff, if you start a YouTube channel, you want a creative name, a name that if you go up into the search bar and type your name, your channel comes up first. I mean, Bill Johnson isn't going to get you, to be able to find your channel as much, but, do you. There's no wrong way to do it. I say that to everybody. Anybody can press that live button or upload a video. You got to be creative. You got to do something different. You got to be engaging. You got to have fun. And I'm going to blow smoke up this guy for a while because he is the epitome of all those things and more on his channel. And I'm really glad to have him on my channel. Anna is in the house. Anna, banana, Anna. I love you. Good to see you, my friend. You guys keep that chat rocking. I love it. I love it. Yes, treat the like button with some love. We should call it the love button, right? How about it, Trox? I dig it. You need some love, Trox. You're a Detroit Lions fan, so I pity you. We joke about the Lions all the time. We joke about the Lions. Hayden Garrett's in the house. Great to see you guys. Rick Hunter's in the building. Hey, I'm doing well, and I appreciate you asking, buddy. And this day I've really been looking forward to. No disrespect to the other interviews that I'm doing because I have a bunch of them lined up. We're going to do Jackknife Finnegan next week. He's a big-time gamer, flirting with 100K himself. He's growing, full of energy. Really fun gamer out there. Bird Gang and Mitch Kosky from Philadelphia will do at the end of the month. And then I got some special stuff for next month as well, because this seems that you guys have really liked what was going on. Jamar's here. Good to see you, Jamar. So like I said, it's not about me. It's not really about the interview as much too. It's all about let's learn from each other, grow as content creators or fans of what people are putting out there. There's way too much negativity and toxicity out there. I'm the opposite. I watch wrestling and sports and I pick out the good stuff. I don't really worry about the bad stuff. There's enough of that out there. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm going to give him a hard time, but I was Blaised Radio for a while before I got to know this guy. And I've been called Biased Radio. I've been called all kinds of bad names I can't say right now, but that's the point. You get people talking. I wanted a weird name so people maybe say it wrong. And then I'm like, it's this and this is why. And then people get to know me. And then maybe you won't forget because it's not Joe Smith or something, So get something catchy if you can. Shaquem, 23 in the house. Welcome in, my friend. Dave in real life, appreciate you coming into the channel. A lot of you guys know each other. Feel free to say hi to each other, engage each other in the chat. That's what it's all about. Make some new friends. I've been blessed to make a lot of friends from all over the planet here on YouTube. And this is a big opportunity for our communities to kind of mesh and meet some new people, some new friends. Kenzie TV in the house. Good to see you. Boy, this is taking forever just because there's so many people hanging out. I dig it. Wolverine. Red Dawn, great movie. I love it. Even the second one was good. There he is. Legend Killer. Are you watching Legend Killer? Are you? I have to go in my golf voice. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blaised Radio Network. Legend Killer is now watching. Always a pleasure. We're going to talk about a lot of the fun stuff that goes on in Daze's channel. If you've been on my channel, if I'm not having fun, I don't want to be here. If I'm not giving back to you guys, I don't want to be here. Here's a friend since day one. Cowboy John, the shotgun stunner in the building. Great to see you, Cowboy. Hope you're doing well, my friend. All right. Let's get, we got Alexa Bliss Gamer here. There's another one. Welcome in, my friend. You guys are getting to me already. You can't do that to me. Well, we got our 4 segments coming up. We're going to have fun like we always do. We're going to have fun tonight. We're going to wang chung tonight. How about it? We're going to do all kinds of wild and wacky stuff here tonight. I don't want to bring you just a regular interview. You know how I am, guys. I'm weird. I'm wacky. I always say WWW around here stands for wit, wordplay, and wisecracks. My 3 I's are idiots, idioms, and innuendo. Add a side of sarcasm. That's Blaised Radio for you, folks. And I'm glad to be a part of your day. I hope you guys enjoy the show. This is the part I don't really like, but I want to do it just because there's so many people in. I want to talk a little bit about how I got here and what I've done here on YouTube to get to this point, to be able to do these interviews and have people say yes instead of saying, who the hell are you, man? I don't want to come to your channel. So you got to make an impression out there. I have a Bachelor of Science in Marketing. I graduated college in 1995. No shame in my game, people. I'll be 49 in a couple weeks. Last day of Leo. # Leo gang out there for my boy Big Daddy Beard and Company. I went into sales management and retail. Worked for 3 major corporations as a manager, hiring people, doing interviews, public speaking, meetings, and stuff like that. It's weird how a lot of what I've done in the past I get to use here on YouTube. I'm a sports card collector, memorabilia, obviously. I collect things. So we do the Legion of Dork podcast where me and my buddy Super Nacho cover retro toys, games, commercials, cartoons, comic books, movies, all of it. Just to give you an idea, we have another one coming up, but our first Legion of Dork, we did He-Man, Transformers, and Atari 2600. Yes, I even had Pong back in the day. I'm so old. We covered Spider-Man and Nintendo, the original Nintendo, on the 2nd episode. We went back to 80s cartoons. We did family game night with like board games and old handheld games and stuff like that from back in the day. We did 80s sitcoms. We did 80s game shows and focused on Star Wars toys. You could see you see my Jabba the Hutt and my little Luke and R2-D2 still over there. Original. I wish I'd have kept stuff in the box, but I want to play with that stuff, man. But if you kept your stuff in the box from the 80s, you could make a pretty penny nowadays. We did one-hit wonders from music. We did 80s gross toys and 90s cartoons. Our next one's going to be a He-Man exclusive. Super Nacho is really big on He-Man. And we're also going to talk about candy from the 80s. What candy doesn't exist anymore that used to be back? R.I.P. Choco Taco. They just announced that the Choco Taco is no more. I'm still trying to get over it. I was a DJ for 5 or 6 years in clubs and bars and stuff like that. So that's why when I do my show, I do a lot of radio type introductions of songs and stuff like that. I use my brother's because of copyright. I can't use any music. So my brother was in a band. I was in a band. I played drums for about 5 or 6 years. injuries, can't do it no more, bad shoulder, bad back, bad neck. That's enough about me. We all have stuff we deal with. And I talk about that all the time. No matter what you're going through or what you've been through in your life, I want to give you that escapism where you come onto the channel, forget about all that stuff, and just have a good time for a while. Use your imagination, use your creativity, and just be wild and wacky. The wrestling part of me, 2000, I started an eFed way back in AOL.com and AIM and all that, basically create a character, pick your moves, fight each other. They tell you who wins. I did it on paper back in the 80s. I feel so old. I'm young at heart, though, people, where you sent in your moves and a month later you got a big stack of papers which said who you fought and here's the results. Well, I found a video game called WU, Facebook game of wrestling, where you did pick your moves. You designed your character. They stood next to each other and the moves popped up and the winner won and you got to talk trash and all this stuff. Well, in that process, I saw someone doing entrance videos with 2K games. Now, in all the eFeds, we did screenshots of 2K15, 16, 17 of your characters and used avatars and stuff to try to paint pictures. I'm a visual person. That's why we're going to do our little slideshow in a little bit too and have some fun with Daze. So from the eFed, and I've seen these people doing those entrance videos. I'm like, that's really creative. And I found a guy, and I talk about it all the time. His channel's called Pillar to Post. His name, Pete Wall, and he is from Canada. And so I started to meet people. He was doing, oh, holy hell, and oh, right. He was yelling and screaming during the matches, engaging with the chat, wild, crazy. I was like, man, that looks like so much fun. I'd love to do it. So, like me, I'm not the type to just jump into something. For up to 10 months, I studied YouTube. I watched how moderators work, how people engage in their chat, tons of different communities. There's people out there that have a community just scratching off tickets. Truckers have communities. Tons of different communities I analyzed and just watched them all before I wanted to go out there and give you guys a product because I wanted to be unique. There's no wrong way to do it, but I wanted to do it some way a little bit different. David Paul's in the house. Oh, please bring the Choco Taco back. I would love it. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. So basically, when I started this channel, it was Blaised Radio because it was just going to be my voice. I had no plans on being on camera. It was probably 3 or 4 years before I had a reveal. I mean, if you had this face, I did have hair at one point in my time, but if you can't make fun of yourself, you ain't going to have as much fun when everyone's making fun of each other. It's all good fun. People started telling me they like my voice. I was funny. I was entertaining. And I thought, over the years, I gained a nice following, got monetized. And then I started to realize that I had a little stroke. I could talk. And a lot of the community out there, you guys deal with something. Whether it's little, whether it's big, whether it's changed your life. I want to help you guys forget about that. I want to make you guys superheroes and fun. So I started different things on the channel. Sundays during football, I do red zone streams. So NFL games, Sundays at 1 p.m. I'll be there for 3 or 4 hours, watching all 8 or 9 football games, giving you the play-by-play. And sure, people come in and they're being dicks about it and say, show us the game. And I say, before I probably would have crumbled and been like, oh, no. Now I know just say, hey, I like my YouTube channel. And unfortunately, I cannot show you the game. So I play around with it, have fun. In all and be all, from the interviews that I'm doing now, my Blaze cards for the collectibles that I have, I'll be bringing another one of those soon, too. I had to do something to help make a difference and spread the love between communities. I did go out and reach and find different people, communities like, hey, do you want a character on my show? I'll promote your channel. Then I couldn't justify having members until I could give something back for that membership. So I let them book matches on my wrestling show. I do some giveaways and stuff we'll be doing soon as well. Plus, you guys help pay for the StreamYard's monthly service so I could do more, have more people on, do the videos and the fun stuff, which we will get to. Don't worry. But Get Blaze has nothing to do with drugs. It has nothing to do with weed. If you want it to be, go for it. And to each his own. Smoke them if you got them and all that good stuff. Blaze was a name of a friend of mine in college. I really liked it. It's unique. Plus, we talked about people messing it up, saying it wrong, et cetera, and we have fun with it. So that's just a little bit about me. I don't want to make it about me totally. I also do my WrestleSense podcast every Thursday night. I'm still kind of reeling from the indie show I went to on Friday night with the guys. We'll talk about that. We'll do our local focus and talk about AEW, WWE, what's going on in wrestling, and try to make sense of wrestling from the side, is like we always do on the WrestleSense podcast. So that's way too much about me. I'll give myself the button. You guys always say, hit the button, Blaise, hit the button. Hey, hit the button. All right. So we're going to get down. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk a little about a bunch of everything. So without further ado, and I got surprises in between the segments as well. Without further ado, let's bring on the one and only, my special guest for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Daze. Welcome, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm still a little overwhelmed. You got to forgive me.
I was loving that intro. I don't know how many sound effects. You've got way more sound effects than me.
Dude, I'm gonna break kayfabe right now. I know you got a stream deck, and I'm thinking about getting one to do sound effects. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get a drum roll. $8 on eBay.
No way. No way. Well, all of those sound effects come from that one box. No way. Do you know, I was sat here going, how is he getting these sound effects so quickly? Like, I have to sit here going into menus, like just going.
People wanted something fun. I thought, I was going to do something within the stream. I don't use OBS. I stream right through the PlayStation. So This just sits close to the mic. That's all.
Are we on a PlayStation?
No, right now we're through StreamYards.
This is the longest I've been on a PlayStation in years, if so.
the LTD, Leaning Towards Death, is my wrestling show, which, once again, I didn't want to have a W in the name. I wanted it to be different. Leaning Towards Death kind of explains what wrestlers do on a daily basis.
Right, well, very true.
A lot of familiar faces out there, right, Daze?
Yeah. Great to see so many people in the chat. I've got the chat up. Normally, I'd like to ignore the chat like as much as possible. Yeah. But right now, I've got the chat up. So I was just seeing what everyone was saying. People saying hello. Hello to Austin and Shaquem, Hoof-Hearted, Jurassic Catch. Hello to everyone that's in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having good Sundays. I love your energy as well. Honestly, it's so much fun. I was just sat here with the biggest smile on my face.
You're one of the reasons that I can. It's me, the energy, but I see you doing similar stuff when you're on your channel and stuff, and that's why you're here. I mean, I totally expect you to say no. I know you're a busy guy. I was just going to say, I have no idea. I was going to introduce you as the guy that doesn't go to the bathroom, doesn't eat, and doesn't sleep. Because I don't know how you do it, man. And plus, with the time difference, I mean, right now it's what, almost 8:30 over there, p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, you must be up all night sometimes, because an 8 o'clock stream puts you in the middle of the morning over there, but you work hard at what you do, and it shows. The uploads and stuff you do since day one. We're gonna go in a little time machine, as I like to say, and talk the Blaised and Daze, and that's how. And it was funny because I was Blaised Radio for a while, and I accepted that. It was all good. I've been called a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I think it was Sonny Sonny Wolf or someone was like, Blaise, it's Blaise, and I was like, Blaise like Daze. And it's like I said, it makes you like not forget, because you got
Well, since you said that, I mean, it's stuck. I've remembered, so it works. So yeah, no, it's great. It's great to be here. I'm really excited. I love the setup that you've got as well. I think it looks fire. It looks really, really cool. Your background. Just before we went live, I was saying to Blaise, that background is one of the best backgrounds I've ever seen. It's so. I even as you were talking, I found myself going, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that.
See the
dude look
at
that
here?
Down there," and you kind of like, yeah.
There's a turd, my little turd emoji.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm a collector, and I had all this junk, and when I started showing myself, I was like, "Do I want to do green screen? I have enough junk to throw behind me to create my own green screen, and I'll move it around because I'm weird. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, as you can see there. That's actually a bobblehead of me."
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I have to show it now.
Is that one that you made, or is that one that a company made? Or
my brother actually got this for me for a birthday present, and I was like,
okay,
because he knew I was a big Spider-Man fan, and yes, it was since I was bald, so yes, that's me.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you can send away with a picture, and they create a bobblehead out of it.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I know that's one thing I love about it. I have some friends out there really big into figures too. So they're going to love this stream, because I know, and we're without spoiling stuff, that's kind of how you got started and everything. Jacko Robertson in the building. Welcome in. I've been to a Royal Rumble. I've been to one in Pittsburgh. when I think it was the one where AJ came out at the end and stuff, and people didn't like it, and we were yelling at Shane. We had blast with it. The Rumbles are one of my favorite shows to go to, man, because the anticipation. And I've been to a lot. I've been blessed to be to a lot of wrestling shows, and so I am Blaised Radio for that part, if you want to say it. But we're gonna get right into the first segment, people.
Okay.
This is the Blaised Basics. We'll be right back. Cowboy John in the house. I appreciate you. Yeah, I kind of had
way more professional than my streams. This is way more. You've got like little things, little graphics in between. I'm actually sitting here going, right, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I need to do that.
And that's what we're here. I'm going to learn off of each other. You can always pick my brain. I always tell people my DMs are open. If you want, I was very nervous about giving advice because I didn't want to come off like a lot of people on YouTube are. Look at me, do what I do. I'm the right one. Everyone else is wrong. I'm not like that. Do it however the hell you want to and have fun with it, man. So let's get into it. I've talked about it before. I've done a lot of interviews before. I wanted to bring that here so I can introduce people to each other. So it's a two-part question for the basics. Tell us a little bit about your channel, what you do, and how you got started as a content creator.
Okay, yeah, great question. So the content that I make it's evolved and changed, and it's actually something that's it's constantly under review. Let's put it that way. But by and large, it's watch-alongs for wrestling shows. So when there's Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, I try to do the big pay-per-views, but as I said, there's obviously things that get in the way because we do UFC as well. So we've got to the point now where some of our shows and streams are actually now starting to get in the way of other opportunities. So it's very, very difficult actually to kind of sit down and plan out like what your month is going to look like. I tend to just kind of go on a week by week basis, which probably isn't best practice. But yeah, we do watch alongs, we do news videos, we do kind of discussion videos. I've had tons of wrestling figure videos, and we still do those, but I need to turn the intensity up on those. I need to definitely be getting more out than what we have been doing. But as I said, yeah, I think there's just, it's kind of like with anything. I think you see opportunities and you go after them, but then you kind of, by doing that, can sometimes leave other opportunities or miss other opportunities. And it's constantly something that's evolving and under review. And that's why feedback from people is so important. I mean, I love everything you said in your intro about how you're here for your community and you're here for the people, and you was calling like people out in the chat and all of that. Yeah. And it was brilliant because I completely agreed with it all. I think that a lot of what we do as content creators is led by, I mean, what the people want. You have to. I mean, there are people out there that make the stuff they want to make regardless as to whether people watch it or not, because they are just passionate about what they do. And I really respect those people. But I think with my kind of content, I want that content that my community wants to watch. So yeah, that feedback, going down in comments and having an active Twitter account, things like that, very important to me.
It's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize that. And that's a common thread between all three of these interviews I've done. So, just a couple things that you hit there, evolving and changing. There's nothing wrong with that because people want variety, being prepared like a damn Boy Scout. I have notes. If you could see my table right now of Post-it notes and paper, because I don't want to miss anything. I want to be prepared. I have a spin on watch-alongs because there's always a misconception about them. People come in, show me, I want to see it. This is stupid. I can't even see the show. I always say, and I've said this with people that do the NFL streams, you do soccer, you do UFC. I say, if you can't watch the show or you want alternate commentary, that's what the watch along is about.
Yeah. And community as well. I think you could stream a show that people have got no interest in whatsoever or have never watched before. Like, we could do a watch along for a brand new wrestling promotion that's got next to no kind of hype around it, and I would still feel quite confident that there would be X amount of people that would join us because they want to have a good time. They know sort of what to expect from a watch along that we do. But more than all of that, the community just drags them in because they want to hang out with each other. Everyone becomes friends. Do you know what I mean? There's people that you love just chatting with and hanging out with. And I think that is something which I never fully appreciated when I started doing the watch alongs, like how big that was going to be. But it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And it's something which I don't take for granted, but I definitely feel that I should always be doing more to acknowledge. So, I'm really pleased. Like, we've got like a whole members section, and I'm trying to do more work with that members section. And we've got a podcast that we do on a Tuesday, and we're trying to find ways of now getting people coming on and asking questions verbally, like actually calling in. So I'm constantly trying to find ways of like, how can I make this more engaging,
Yeah. So, and a good point. And you're kind of humble like I am to a point, but they come to watch you. They follow you because you're engaging in what you do as well. And you're right. The community is a big thing. And I say this all the time. People want to hear their names. They want to be engaged. They want to shout out. And I don't mind. I try to hit everybody if I can. Now, in some of your streams, there's 1,000 people. It's hard to hit them all. But, the engagement is important. And that's one thing that I really impressed with what you do. Even though you get a ton of people, you're still hitting that. And you're not only doing the super chats and like some channels, if you don't pay them, your comment's not getting read, which to each his own. If they want to do it that way, that's fine. But once you get a community, and I've found this out just like you, once you get that community and you do try something different, I was amazed. They're coming. Like, I was shooting a 5-minute video from the indie show I was at. They had no idea what it was. I had 20 people in there. I'm like, cool. I'm not the type of person that'll be like, throw something in their face, but I think I could go live at like 2 a.m. with just me sitting there and I'll get a handful of people because they really have been accustomed to watching us. Like it's tough to admit, like, I'm gonna blow more smoke because this is amazing. And I've always said, don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter if you're subscriber number 1, number 13, number 37, number 1,252. There's people with content creators under 100 subscribers. They're amazing, and there's people with over 100,000. They're terrible in my opinion. It's miserable to watch. And that's just my opinion. But this guy right here, 260,000 subscribers, 100 million views. And that's something to be proud of, man. And you're not one of those guys that's been begging and, subscribe. It's happened because you put up great content, you're consistent, and you're creative as hell, man. And we're going to dip real in deep into how he's creative and what he does, because I really want to show you guys. But I found something out before we get to the second segment, and that was a great answer. Exactly what I expected, if not more. The second segment will come up next, but I found something out when I was doing these StreamYard streams. Old commercials are fair play. So I figured there was a certain part, I believe, that I was trying to find the legal ramifications because I don't want my channel shut down. And I've seen people get their channel shut down and they don't even know why sometimes. And I try to really protect myself. I'm not totally PG, but I'm not throwing F-bombs constantly either. So I know where to toe the line. I don't brag or preach about likes and comments and thumbs up and all that, but that is part of the game. You do have to make sure you continuously remind people. A lot of times I'll be sitting and watch a show and they're like, don't forget to like. Oh crap, I did forget to like. There it is. I got you. And there's some people that want to watch the whole show before they decide to like. I'm the type of person that said, if you dig what's going down, hit the like button. If you like my content and want more, subscribe. I joke around. I say, there used to be these things called magazines. Remember that? And if you like that magazine, what'd you do? You subscribe to it to keep getting that content. That's what it's like here on YouTube. You don't have to subscribe. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't want to. It would have when I started, but I've gotten thicker skin from being on YouTube a lot more, and you got to have it. But we have that power to make a difference in people's lives. We really do, to entertain them and to educate them. I got educated on Daze's stream, and we're going to get to that on a slideshow here and have some fun with it. So we're going to take it back. I know you like figures. I found this commercial One had the audio real bad, but the picture's good. One had the picture good enough, but the audio was bad. So I went with the bad audio because I didn't want bad picture. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about this as well. But the throwback around the early 90s, I believe there was a law that some of these were fair game to use. And I've never gotten a copyright. Actually, I correct myself. Anything WWE or WCW will get hit. So I can't show anything because they watch a lot closer. And it's just that, it's not a strike. It's just a warning. Then you got to either mute it or take it down, which I like that they do that. But we'll be right back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
That was cool.
The Battle Royale playset comes complete with 6 figures, referee, and official wrestling ring from Remco.
So that is the old Remcos. And
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot of them right here. We will talk about that when we get to the slideshow part and some of the features and figures that I have here. I want to show off. I was cheap though. When I got them, I didn't get the belts. I made my own belts and stuff. I was like, here, I didn't even bother to shape them or nothing. I'm just like, just stick a piece of cardboard around them and tape them. You're the champ. So
can I ask? Sorry, when did you get those?
1985, right out the box.
So you got them literally when they first came out, and you've just kept them ever since. That is amazing. That's really cool.
I hate to say this, but now that I look back, I have all but I think 4 of the actual complete set. I don't have Bockwinkel, which is expensive.
Yeah.
I don't have the alternate Zbyszko and Garvin, and I don't have Brunzell or Scott Hall. Some of them I could probably find on eBay, but I'm sure the Scott Hall and the Bockwinkel, they're $100-$200 just for raw without the box. We're going to get into the figures here in a little bit, and we're going to have a lot of fun with the figures as part of the slideshow. We're going to dip back into what Daze used to do as well. Yeah, exactly. Seeing battle. Oh, I know. You're French. That's why I understand. But I have some toys. We're going to do show and tell. This is the second segment. And if you guys remember Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock back in the day, it was, oh wait, I'm skipping one. Never mind. This is Digital Underground. Do what you like. This is What You Like with Wrestling Daze. Just fun. I mean, I created those beats. I mean, those are things that I had to make from scratch whenever my shoulder, my back got real bad, I couldn't play drums anymore. And I had a friend come over, and I used to DJ. So I had all the equipment, all the computer stuff. And he showed me how to create beats from scratch. Here's the bass, then another bass drum, then a snare drum, then a hi-hat, and then a music and words. So I loved it. It's just
you so look like a drummer.
Thank you.
I'm amazed you're not sat there having a go right now.
I do. They're all set up downstairs, man. I got 2 drum sets downstairs, and I can still do it a little bit. I mean, I'm big into metal, hip hop, regular rock. Never a big country fan, even though I'm really close to West Virginia. But I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania, and for those that don't know, Daze is over in the UK, so we got a little. Do you guys hate hearing "cross the pond"? That has to get old.
I think we just like being acknowledged.
Yeah,
I think the fact that anyone in America pays any attention to what we're doing at all is just great for us, to be honest.
Oh please, I'd love to visit one of those days. I'd love to. I have a Czechoslovakian and Polish background, so I'd love to visit that side of the planet if I ever have the pleasure of doing that as well.
Have you never had a chance to come over to Europe?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've been to Canada a little bit, and most of I think Chicago is the most west I've been. I have an aunt in California. I keep wanting to visit there. And Savvy in the chat, San Diego, I'm gonna take you up on that one day and come visit you. But yeah, meeting people all over the world on YouTube. I mean, I have a fan. I don't know if he showed up yet. Andy Price. He's from New Zealand, and he's in my chat. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the time of day you should be online. What are you doing? And he's at all my streams. It's a blessing. It really is a blessing. It makes my heart grow. So now this is where we talk about you. and we want to find out a little more about Wrestling Daze, the person. So tell me, what is your favorite part about being I was going to say YouTuber, but I'm not a fan of that either. What's your favorite part about being a content creator?
Yeah, probably a really boring answer, unfortunately, to start off with, but it would be the community. It would be the fact that you can sometimes, things that aren't going great, or like, when you have those days and it's just you get up and I don't know, like you drop your cereal, or you go to turn the TV on, it's just not working and you can't figure out, oh God, what's happening? Because I actually live in the countryside. So we do get like quite a few technical problems with things, dropping out or things not working and all this kind of stuff. So, you just have those days where everything seems to be going against you. But what's incredible is that you can just go sit down, go live. I mean, thankfully, the computer tends to work more often than not, but we've certainly had technical difficulties there as well on a fairly...
Future Days. Do you remember Future Days when you were like 30 minutes ahead of everybody and we were calling you Future Days because you knew it was going to... That was great. That's how you make the most of it, though.
Yeah, well... You have to, I mean, the thing is, when you're doing live content like that, you have to roll with the punches and you have to just go with whatever's happening. And I think that over time, you kind of learn to just really adapt. And I think I'm a kind of person that can adapt to situations anyway. But yeah, I mean, I've certainly had a fair few experiences in all the years we've been doing watch longs. But to answer your question, I think the fact that if you have a bad day, you can go live and there's people there that you respect, have spent time with, that they've got your back, kind of a situation. Everything could be burning around you and people in the chat will still be like, nah, give him a chance, he'll get this sorted in a sec. And you're like, sometimes you just need that support. So yeah, it's easy, it's the community easily. It's
therapeutic. I've said it before. Everyone's, I always say, no matter what you're dealing with now or what you've dealt before, hopefully we can help take it away for a little bit. That's why I spin my LTD acronym to mean limited temporary disconnect. And we want to give people that disconnect from the real world. And it does. It helps me too. I've had my fair share of health issues. Sometimes I can have a bad day. I go live and I'm like, everything's gravy after that. I should have mentioned this earlier, and some people in the chat were saying it too. Make sure you guys check out Daze. I mean, this is going to be a screaming promotion for his channel as well. In the description of this broadcast, his Twitter, his YouTube link, it's all right there for him. Make sure you find him. And just like my channel, if you type in Wrestling Daze in the YouTube search, you get him. So that's very important. So, well, before the next question, how did you get the name Wrestling Daze? I think I already know this, but let's tell everybody.
Sure. So I used to watch, my partner at the time was not into wrestling, and she was, a wonderful person that would sit down and actually watch wrestling with me. But she wasn't watching it all because in the UK, obviously it starts at like 1 a.m. So watching it live was always a very difficult thing to do if you had like to go to work the next day. And I know many people watching have those struggles here in the UK. There's a lot of people that have to watch catch up and try and avoid spoilers and all that kind of stuff. So the show that we would watch would always be NXT, because NXT was on the network. And so that was easy to just catch up with. And the other thing as well is because it was NXT, which is WWE's kind of developmental, that's where the stars of tomorrow come through. Yes. And so even though it was a fantastic show, it was a little bit underground. It was on catch up and no one was really talking about it. You didn't have to worry about spoilers or anything. So if you didn't watch it live, you could watch it the next day at a time that was better for you, not have any spoilers. And, it's a great show. It was a fantastic show. Yeah. So we used to watch it and enjoy it together. And she was not crazy about wrestling, but she watched it and she got something from it. She would quite happily watch that every Wednesday. But afterwards, I always wanted to talk about what had happened. I'd be like, oh my God, can you believe what just went down? And she turned around to me and she was like, I will watch this show with you, but I will not talk about this show with you. Like she was in a joking way. She wasn't like being like harsh. She had a smile on her face as she was saying it. And I was like, okay, message received. When your partner says something like that in that kind of tone, you go, honey. Message received. Yes, so the next week we sat down, we watched it. And I went to turn to talk to her, remembered what I'd been told. And then I went, oh, and then I started like having to think and ponder to myself. And she turned around and went, "You know that you are now slipping into a wrestling daze."
Oh.
And I was like,
light went off.
wrote it down like this. I'm like, oh, we can definitely use that somewhere. That's an
Brilliant.
opinion. I'd never heard that said before. And like,
Uh-oh, we're losing Daze. Oh, the days are over. Daze is frozen. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hopefully he comes back soon here. I'm going to say hi to Cassie, Madam Red. Bradley play. He was just saying how his signal is good and he doesn't have any problems with it. And I knew that would have Jet Strikes here. King of Cleveland. Great to see you guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're trying to fix our technical difficulties here. Cassie, Madam Red in the house. Good to see you. We got frozen Daze for days right now. He's frozen Daze. He's like a tasty treat right now. Let's see if we can get him back here. I think we got audio. There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Hope everyone is well, if you can hear me.
It's just like in your live streams. When you do get lag and stuff, it only takes a minute and it catches back up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thankfully, as I said earlier in this interview, we're in the countryside and sadly we do get those kind of little dropout moments or whatever. But yeah, you know, so basically hopefully that story came across anyway. That
you got it out just in time before you froze like this, and like you were in a Michael Jackson video for a second.
Do you know what? Do you know what I think happened there? I think my my former partner jumped in and she was like, I don't want you telling the story.
Stop. Enough. Don't go any further.
she's run round the back and pulled the plug.
But that's a spot on. I'm glad that came up because I didn't have it on my list of things, but people want to know. People want to know. So here is the second part of that question. And favorite part of being a content creator we covered. Now, what's the worst part of being a content creator?
Worst part of being a content creator. I think honestly, it's probably the time that it takes. I know that you can. I think if there's people watching this that want to be content creators, and I hope there are because it is something that is fun to do, but you need to treat it as something that's fun to do. I don't think you should ever go into this thinking this is going to make you millions and this is going to be the next Logan, the next Jake Paul, all that kind of stuff. Because it's really competitive. You're constantly having to try and stay not ahead of the curve, but it's about trying to give people the content they want. But you're not the only one that's doing that, and so this is why like the community that we've got is. I mean, it just means everything to me because these are people that clearly feel a connection to the channel and they allow me to continue doing what we do, and without them. I mean, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Without them, I wouldn't be able to afford to stay up and watch shows live, and I'd have to go back to getting a 9 to 5 again and everything. So it's. I
figured we have a lot in common on how we think about this stuff, and it's true. Since the pandemic and now the days of TikTok and Instagram and stuff, anybody can. And a lot of people resorted to trying to YouTube. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try that, and a lot of them find out the hard way. It's not as easy as people think, but. I mean, you got to be creative. You got to be different. I mean, that's a great answer, obviously. But one of mine that I don't like is the anonymity of YouTube. Like people can make whatever name they want, come in the chat, do their slurs, do their trolling and all that stuff. And there's no way to really hold them accountable. Clickbait drives me nuts too. And I mean, sometimes you can tease someone with a topic title to get them to come in. But some of these topics, I'll give you an example. Last week, a very reliable source came out with an article. I should cite the source. It was Wrestling Incorporated. Wrestling Inc. had an article about MJF's contract status. And it just talked about his status. It talked about the fact that WWE could be a place when he's done and this and that. There was people live streaming right after that. MJF signs with WWE. MJF signing with WWE. And, I get it. It's part of the game. People do it, but that's just not me. I did that kind of one time for one of my videos on the Wrestle Sense podcast. It was right after MJF did walk out. And then on WWE, the Usos walked out of their tag match. And I took a picture of them walking out and I said, Usos walk out of Raw. And, just to see, would I get more views if I did a clickbaity thing? And, even my boys gave me some shit about it, for doing that. But I'm like, it happens.
You might get more views by doing that, but you don't get respect. And what you don't get is you don't add to your reputation. Your reputation and your brand, if you will, is so important that you kind of treat that with the respect that it deserves, because you could just constantly put out clickbait and constantly put out fake news, but you will quickly get a reputation, and then people will look to avoid you because you're not a trusted source.
Yeah.
You're not someone that's worth listening to. And so you will very quickly get that reputation. So, I always think that, there's very, very, very few channels that take that approach and succeed. Very few channels. So I think it's probably not the path your viewers should look to go
slippery
down.
slope. It's a slippery slope, man. You're taking a risk. I mean, there's channels that I watch, and I watch all channels, even people that I don't like, because I'm going to find out what I should do and what I shouldn't do. So I do watch a lot of content on a regular basis just to find out if I can do something better. I still do watch my own show back. Like when I did that, my little E-Fed shows, I would literally turn it back on, go do the dishes and clean and listen and be like, I'm saying that too much. I should change that. I should do that. And that's a good practice. I mean, that's what this is about, people. A lot of you guys in the chat, I see that you have YouTube channels. There's a lot of people out there that do content. And that's advice. And we'll talk more about advice later, but I really wanted to just hit that because it digs into me, but I know it's a big part. And people that yell and scream at their people in their chat and get out of here. It happens. I play the ignore war. I call it the ignore war. If someone's gonna come in and be an asshole, they can go away. Or that's another thing. Moderators. I've seen channels that just, oh, welcome to the show. You're blue. You get a jacket or whatever. Moderator, trying to reward them that way. But they don't realize that even when you're not live, those moderators, if they don't like you, they can go right in and start banning people like crazy. I've seen it happen to channels where people come back and go, well, I had to take everyone's mod tags away because someone banned everybody and I had nobody at my last show and I didn't know why until I looked at it. So you gotta reach out. And that's why I want to do these interviews, because I'm learning from you. You learn from us, all these content creators that are out there. Feel free to drop comments about things you do like, don't like, and everyone can benefit from that and become better. I mean, I'm a true believer in that. Great
Can
answer.
I just say something before we move on? If there's anyone, I don't know who's watching, right? But if there's anyone watching that does have a YouTube channel and does have any questions, I enjoy helping and giving that advice. And you made a point earlier about how people can preach and they can be like, oh, look what I've achieved and all that kind of stuff. It's never about that. But it's about the fact that I've made so many mistakes. There's so many things that I've done wrong that if I could have gone back, I would have changed. And I know that people will make either those mistakes, similar mistakes, different mistakes. I feel like with my experience, I can at least help some people avoid some pitfalls that I fell into. So feel free to ever drop me a tweet or hit me up in some way. There's so many different ways to get in touch with me. But if you send me a tweet, I mean, I go through Twitter all the time. I will try, as long as I don't miss it. If I do miss it, just hit me with it again. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just I wouldn't have seen it or something. But I'm always happy to try and help and respond where I can.
We're all human. We all make mistakes, and I always say we're all human. We all make mistakes. It's how you react to those mistakes that really matters. I mean, I don't mind I just went to the third segment instead of the second one. I screwed up. I admitted it. Let's go. It happens. It shows that you're human. Nobody's perfect. See, even Dave in real life says Daze helped you. So that's what happens. Reach out to people that you enjoy. And that's what I did for these interviews. I reached out to a bunch of different types of content creators to bring in so we can all learn from it and become better from it. No matter if you're just streaming talk shows where you do panels and you come and talk with your friends, or you're doing gaming or watch alongs or whatever, you can always get better and always learn. Once again, whether you just started or you're a seasoned veteran or you got that little 100,000 subscriber landmark, whatever, you can always learn from people and get better.
Can I just say about the Dave one? I think I actually started to bully Dave because it got to the point where Dave was asking me a few questions about like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'm someone that I want to get it right for them. Like I really want it to work. So he was sending me little clips and I was watching them and I was like, I think you should try tweaking this, tweaking that, and I'd send it back. And normally you'd probably expect that to be it, but no word of a lie. We probably went back and forth about 50 times. He was sending me stuff and I was like, I don't think that's hitting the way it should. I think we need to tweak this. I mean, honestly, by the end, I was like, I think I need to leave this guy alone. I was giving myself a restraining order.
And it's true, man. I mean, you don't want to jump. You don't want to annoy someone or like I felt weird about doing the Daze of Daze on Twitter every day, 6 days ago, 5 days ago. But I know the person who catch sixth one might not have caught the fourth one or third. There's Sunny Wolf. There she is. Welcome in. Welcome in. I got to finally hear her on. We're going to talk about your podcast as well when we get to some of this as well. Great to see you. Mitch Kosky, I'll be interviewing you later on as well in the month. Glad to see you. Troxel as well. See, that's the same thing. Us YouTubers, we make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're just regular people too. And it's a big point. It's a big point, people. Okay, so let's find out more in what you like and close out this segment. This is up to you. You could do 1, 2, or 3. I want to know what your favorite, up to 3 favorites in music and movies. It can either be genres of music or literally creators and a movie or two of your favorites. Something just get.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, when it comes to music, it's a real passion of mine. I mean, I could quite comfortably do a YouTube channel just on music. Cool. I used to work in like an entertainment store, so that is another big passion that I have. I would say that I would go with this band from Birmingham called Ocean Colour Scene. They were really, really big in the 90s. I don't know if they made it over to America, to be honest, but they were very much the same kind of movement as Oasis and Blur. They were Britpop. And their songs, certainly on their second album, are these like big anthems. They're the kind of songs that you would hear being played in a pub on a sunny day. And the album that I would recommend would be Moseley Shoals. And that band meant a lot to me when I was growing up because they were a local band. You heard them everywhere. Yeah. It's just good vibes. And I absolutely recommend checking out Moseley Shoals. Then I would say the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. They're an American band from New York, 2000s. I would say, you know, when a band just comes along and just grabs you and just speaks to you and just represents kind of where you are in life and who you are. They came along and it was a powerful lead singer, female lead singer. She had a great voice. Everything they did with like urgency. And it just felt like you was listening to a bit of a party. It was a rave. It was just blasts of fun. And I was like, oh my God, I need to see this band live. So I've seen them now about, I don't know, 10, 20 times. I have no idea over the years, but love that band. And then the other one, I don't know, I'd probably go for a classic cut, something paying respect. So maybe we would go with someone like the Stones. Cool. Or the Beatles, or Led Zeppelin.
I was just gonna say, I love your first answer because Zeppelin, Beatles, Stones are easy ones, and I'm glad you hit one of those. But you even surprised some people in the chat. The Ocean Colour Scene, I'm looking at that's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, they've got a song called "Day We Caught the Train." That is one of those songs that in the UK, around 96, 97, if you was to walk into a pub on a sunny day, I reckon there was a good chance that song was playing. Because the jukebox that would have been in the pub would have been playing Oasis, would have been playing Blur, would have been playing Ocean Colour Scene. And that Britpop movement from like the mid-90s was just, it was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere. And I think Britain was kind of cool at that time. She had the Spice Girls, and I remember Jerry wearing like the Union Jack kind of dress that she had on. And obviously Oasis were doing amazing stuff as well. So it was that was kind of the time I was growing up. And it was, to be honest, I wouldn't want to have grown up at any other time. I'm sure other times were great.
Yeah.
But that was bang on for me. Britain was swinging in the mid-90s and I was having the time of my life. Yeah.
Awesome. What about movies?
Movies, I'm not the biggest movie person. I'll hold my hands up to that. Yeah. So for me, I would recommend... there's a film, right? This is probably going to be a bit old for maybe some of the people that are here, but there's a film that's called Dead Man's Shoes, and it's a British film, and it is all about. It's quite sad actually. It's all about this brother who is bullied, and his brother comes to kind of stand up for him, and it's about him standing up to these bullies, but it's a little bit deeper than that, and I would recommend. It's one of those films that you watch it and you go, wow. At the end, like cool. It's one of those films that just doesn't leave you. So I would say if you are I think it's an 18, and I think if you are older than that, I would urge that you check that film out. The other one is Senna, because that is a documentary all about a racing car driver, which sounds boring. And I already know there's people out there that are glazing over, that are going, I don't care about this, right? I understand. Watch that film. You don't need to care about racing. You don't need to care about sport. This is about a man and the impact that man has, because he is one of the biggest sports stars in Brazil. It shows you what he means to the Brazilian people. It shows you how good he was. I mean, he's one of the best sportsmen of all time, but you need to watch it. No spoilers. That's amazing.
I dig it.
The other one, I don't know. I feel like I should go for something a bit more commercial.
No,
I feel like I need to.
Those are amazing. Whatever your opinion, it can't be wrong. It's your opinion. It's what you like.
That's true. That's true. I'll probably just. Do you know what? I'll pay a little bit of love to Toy Story then, because I think as animated films go, I think that one really pushed things forward. And I thought that the characters are so much fun. I think the film, you can't help but watch it and it put a smile on your face. And did you know someone actually compared Toy Story to Walking Dead, and it actually matches up really well? I think I've
heard that before.
It's an amazing theory. If you've seen Walking Dead, there's a video out there where someone goes through about a sheriff who is looking for his loved ones, and like he goes down like the plot of Walking Dead, and then he goes down the plot of Toy Story, and they actually mash really well.
Rip off artist. They ripped off Toy Story.
They ripped them off. Yeah.
Those are great answers. I expect the big, the people, to say those big, glorious movies everybody knows. So I really like that. I'm a fan of all the superhero movies, the DCs, the Marvels, all those. Yeah. I'm not one that goes, that's not like the comics, or this should be a better story. I like them all. The action, and like you say, from Toy Story to a lot of the movies with the CGI we have now and stuff. I remember the Transformers cartoon movie from the 80s that people said was terrible, but I loved it because we finally got it. And I'm just happy to have all these movies, the Spider-Mans and the Batmans and all these movies that are out there, which actually is a great segue into my next question. Your favorite superhero and or villain?
I would say Batman.
Okay. Uh-oh. Lost your audio. We lost your audio. I've seen this has happened before, man. He's a professional. Don't worry. We have this under total control. Nope. When in doubt, unplug it, plug it back in. He still doesn't have it. Let me get the button for him. Nope. No audio. Still no audio. Prestige Tacos in the house. Don't worry. We'll get him back. I'm keeping him as long as I can. No problem. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Yep. Do what you got to do. Monstar, I see what you're asking out there. It's not your interview. It's mine. You can't ask questions. What are you doing asking questions? It's my interview. I love you, Sean. You're a great guy. Nope. No audio yet. Still no audio. Hey, make sure you guys, big shout out to all my featured members of the channel too. Much appreciation to each and every one of you guys. Nope, still no audio. We got everyone popping off in the chat. McLaren after him. Yeah, I got to check that out. Nope. Now you're just muted. Now you just have the mute on. Hit the unmute. I can't unmute you. You're muted.
That was muted.
Yeah, now you're good.
Okay, I don't know what that was.
Shit happens, like we said earlier. All good.
Well, there was a question there, and I really want to answer that. What was that question?
Oh, do you want to? Oh, you're going to appease him now. That's my friend Sean. He's my friend from way back in the day.
It would be a bit rude to sit here and say how important people were, and then just ignore
you're like, screw he's the one I dig. We bust each other's balls all the time. So okay, it's part of the show. If you had a life theme song, what would it be? Okay.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That is a that is a fantastic question.
It is a great question.
I think I would. This is one again that sadly I just don't know how many people will know it. But there's a song that's called "Many Rivers to Cross." It's a famous song. I can't remember who sang it originally, but there's a band from Birmingham that are called UB40, and they're like a reggae band.
They're the Red Wine band, right?
That's right, but Red Wine was like their big hit, and Kingston Town was a big hit for them. There's other stuff that they did, which is it's my dad's favorite band. And I can remember being 2, 3 in a car and the music playing. So whenever I would hear that, I would think about like my dad. I would think about my life. Or that like that band in particular means a lot to me. They're not really regarded as the coolest band because you know what I mean? It's a load of white guys from Birmingham, England doing reggae music. I mean, it's a pretty weird look. But listen, you put that kind of prejudice to one side, and it is fantastic.
Well, the song's actually been covered a bunch of times. Jimmy Cliff made it in 1969. Linda Ronstadt covered it in 75. Jimmy Barnes in 91. Joe Cocker in 82. And UB40 in 1983. Good stuff.
Listen to any version of that song. I mean, it's just one of the greatest songs ever written. But the one I would reach for would be the UB40 version. But I'd love to hear the Linda Ronstadt version. I don't think I've ever heard that.
It'd be probably more of a poppy type version of it. Well, Monstar, okay, you got your wish, Sean. Good great for question. You. Never let me live that down now. No, that is a really good question. Though.
Yeah.
And Batman for the superhero. Do you have a villain that you like or no? Just Batman is your favorite superhero. Do you have a favorite villain?
Oh yeah, we didn't get very far with that, did we? Probably Batman. I mean, for me, I really like when it comes to like superheroes, I understand like people love all the powers and all the different things people can do, but I think the ones that always spoke to me were like the kind of the normal guys that learnt skills. I don't know if it's something where I looked at it and I was like, man, I that could be me. You know, maybe I look at Superman and I think, oh, I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? I will never be able to do that. But you look at Batman and the Batcave and the technology he's got, and I suppose Iron Man as well, I believe is similar. Yeah. And I feel like those I look at and I think like I can, I don't know.
Well, they weren't mutants. They were just humans. They weren't mutants. They just used what they had their resources to be.
Yeah, maybe I've got a very limited imagination.
No, I dig it.
I allow myself to look at those and go, oh, man, I could have a Batcave one day. So I think along those lines, I suppose in a way, villains would have to be like the Joker. I mean, the Joker movie.
Yes.
We just talking about movies. That's probably the last great film that I watched.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It's been out a long time now, but as I say, I just don't really watch films.
See, my friend Cassie Madam Red has a life song. Hers would be Meredith Brooks, bitch.
Ah.
I'm a bitch. I know, Cassie. You can, baby. You're a sweetheart too, huh? Cassie
Great
Madam Red. Big support. Yeah, it is. Great supporter of the channel. I love you, Cassie. You're an amazing person. All right. Last part of what you like. The best comment you ever received on YouTube, whether it's a live one or a DM or a little story attached to it, whichever, your favorite comment ever.
Yeah. So this is really interesting because I can't remember the comment, but it's not about the comment.
No.
Someone left a comment. I get obviously a few comments and I enjoy reading through them, and people make great points all the time. So trying to highlight something that someone said, I think would be tricky because there's so many great points that get made all the time. In fact, there was one that got made just the other day that I enjoyed so much. I took a screenshot of it and then said, how amazing is this? And put it on Twitter, just completely by random. So, you know, there's things that kind of reach and connect with me all the time. But the story I'll tell was that I remember not when I first started, just going back to creating videos, my videos would get about 10 views. And genuinely, I don't know where those views were coming from because, you know, I had no following, zero, started from the bottom. Yeah. Went full on drain.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And I had a few comments that came through, and one of them was from someone called Jim. And I can't remember exactly what he said, but he probably would have just been responding to the video. But the point is, he is still with the channel. He is actually still with the channel 6 years later. And that blows my mind. So I know, and I have known Jim only since I started YouTube. And it all started with him leaving comments on like amongst my very first. I don't know if it's my first or my second, but he goes right back to the very, very, very beginning. So that just shows, doesn't it? I mean, even someone like him that was there for the very first or second video, and he's still with the channel now. I mean, that means so much to me. That he's either a really patient person, a really lovely person that takes pity on people, or I've done something right. I've done something somewhere. I've done right. So.
Grinder Gang. Here's my boy Grinder Gang. Welcome in. I got to clear something up. Someone's asking if I like Timmy's. Just because I'm a friend of Monstars. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm not from Canada. I know what Timmy's is because Monstar doesn't shut up about it. But no, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. But yeah. But what I said earlier, I was talking to Daze before the stream, and I'm gonna make a t-shirt out of this because it hits home. Loyalty is currency, people. If you guys can't super chat or don't be a member, you're just as important to the content creators by being in the chat, hitting a thumbs up. Those are free. Subscribing. Loyalty is currency, people. Timmy's is amazing. I think that's pretty much. I always make fun of Sean that he plays with his Timbits all the time, because those are the donut holes we call them here in America from Duncan. All right, so that is what you like, and the next segment is definitely my favorite by far, and we're about at the halfway point. So I'm going to steal something from Daze here, and this is something that is amazing, funny. And I didn't do the clip. I just did screenshots of it. So you guys that are from his channel, you know what this is going to be. It's time for halftime.
Halftime scores, everybody. It's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
Brilliant, man. Just as something as simple as rating the show, you turned into a song. I love that you clipped it and put it up there. I just took screenshots, but don't rate this show, guys and gals out there. I mean, we don't have to rate this, but that's creative, man. So many shows do that where they're like, tell me what you thought of the show we just watched, but you turned it into something absolutely entertaining and amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because I was listening to that song and I was like, oh man, after all the stuff you've been doing with the sound effects and the energy that you bring and everything, like I do listen to stuff like that and they're like, wow, it's really, it's lacking. It's got like, it's kind of like, it doesn't have the energy that you bring.
Well,
do you know what I mean? So it's like, I do think that it's a constant journey. It's constantly evolving, but I mean, it can be hard when you're doing 4, 5, 6 hour streams. Some of those little moments, those little clips come, well, I mean, that would be like, say, 3 hours into a stream. So can be, can test your creativity sometimes, but that is definitely one that kind of resonated with people. People, again, just talking about engagement, people love sharing their thoughts, and where you can give people the platform to do that, be it at the end of the show or halftime scores. That's something that's resonated, and obviously we've kept.
I should have warned everybody, but that song will haunt you, and you will dream about it, and you will hear it in your sleep.
Halftime scores, everybody, it's the halftime score.
Yeah, so get used to it, folks. I hear it when I get up. I'm sitting on the toilet like, everybody. It's catchy. It's good. And I mean, people can make fun. My avatar for my wrestler has a little bit of hair, and I don't know if you've ever seen the little wombo things where people sing, but I like to clown on myself. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. That's all I can play for that. Or so. I feel good. Yeah, so have fun with yourself. Don't be afraid to clown on yourself and have some fun, right? So before we get to the next segment, we gotta go back to commercial. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
We'll return after these messages.
He-Man. Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
He-Man.
Here's He-Man, Skeletor, and Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together.
You're doomed, He-Man.
Oh, yeah? Watch this action, Dad.
He-Man.
Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection from Mattel.
Who's the big guy? Who's the big guy with the muscles, man? Isn't that great?
That was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm loving these adverts. Proper lost in them.
They're so. I got another one I'll pop later on here at the end, but the He-Man thing was definitely fitting because when we talk about some of the toys that helped you get started, we'll hit base on some of those. I'm going to play a little show and tell. We'll compare. We'll talk about that. For right now, Raw bass, DJ Easy Rock. It takes two to make a thing go right. Blaze and Daze it takes. So this is the situation that the bass is in. I love it. Emotional damage. I love that guy. He's hilarious. That's great. That's great. Living my hair dreams through my wrestler. See how he gives me crap all the time. Thanks, Monstar. I love you. I love you. That's my Canadian brother from up top. Rob Bass knows about the jam. All right. So the situation that the bass is in, this is where we do, you've seen word association, picture association, a little show and tell, if you will. So I have done my homework for this podcast a lot, and people who watch Grid and Trox and Big Daddy Beard that I've interviewed the first two know that I'm going to dig deep and take us on a little time machine. Let's go back in the days of Wrestling Daze and check out what he has. This is the first video on your YouTube channel. It may not have been the first ever, but it's still the one that's first right now. January 13, 2016.
It's first ever.
Is it?
There's no hidden videos or anything. This was the very first one. Yes.
Because I know some people don't do the videos like, oh, I'm getting ready to first 10. They were terrible. No, keep that on there. And I mean, you guys, we've talked about it a little bit. We don't want to harp on it, but you guys can see the amount of views and the people that this guy has brought in. And you don't have to be a selfish prick for lack of words when you get big on YouTube. And this guy right here is proof positive about that. Stay humble, people, no matter what you do in this business. And he's done this organically, folks. He's done this as he goes. Now, Microwave Daze was, I remember when you talked about this on your stream, and I was like, I got to find this. I got to see, like, what in the hell is he going to do? He's a toy guy. And he's like they always told you, like, there was a thing where if you take a CD, have you ever seen a CD or DVD in a microwave? You can only do it for 2 seconds. If you do it anymore, you might mess up your microwave. But back when I worked for Verizon Wireless, I was selling, and they said, try the CD in a microwave thing. I was like, you don't put metal or anything like in a microwave. If you put it in for like 2 seconds, it looks like lightning goes through the whole CD real quick. Like, it's amazing.
Wow. Okay. So, but definitely don't do that.
No, do not do it, because it could ruin. If you ruin your microwave, I am not held accountable for that.
Sounds like you could ruin your house as well.
Yeah. But literally lightning through the whole, and you can see the scars on it afterwards. You ruin the CD or DVD, obviously. Plus, half of these kids out here don't know what a CD or a DVD is. My last stream, he was a gamer and he's big into music. I brought out an 8-track cassette. I brought out vinyl. I have vinyl that I showed him and stuff. Vinyl's big collectible right now too.
Vinyl came back, and
I still have a ton of tapes. I used to make my own tapes. I was that guy who watched MTV taping his favorite music video and stringing them together. I would sit there and me and my DJ friend would pause the music songs and on our tapes, and we create our own little mixtapes and everything. And I used to
do that with the radio.
Yep, right off the radio. That's hard because you got to you're going to hopefully, and you're mad the DJ talks over the beginning, but you got to get it. So here's what Microwave Daze is all about. Something he did decide to stick into a microwave, and this was the result. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see him, and he looks like he's about to give up. He's melted. That's John Cena, believe it or not.
Yeah, the worst part of this, well, the figure itself, you can't just see it at the bottom, but that's the only bit that kind of remained. The bottom part became like this black kind of coal kind of type thing, and it ballooned out like this. It was like it got air in there somehow, and it became like this big lump of black.
Hollow, yeah.
I tell you that
it's a disfigure now.
Yeah, never do it. Like the smoke that was coming out, I seriously could not breathe. Whenever this comes up in conversation, I always keep saying to people, don't do it. I don't know how to stress, don't do it.
Here I do.
The following is rated TV MALSV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
No nudity, though. No nudity.
I couldn't breathe. I absolutely could not breathe. I was in a flat. The flat was filled with smoke. Honestly, my head was out the window, right? And I was spluttering away. I mean, you see a degree of it. You don't see obviously all of it in the video. It is as bad as that video makes it seem, and I would say worse. For some reason the smoke didn't quite come across in the video. You couldn't see in the flat.
Do not do this at home. Do not do this at home. So now let's keep the slideshow going. This is what made this guy famous right here, whether he admits he's famous or not, he is. And it's toy hunts. This is March 9th, 2018. Now, is there a lot of now it's probably different than back in the day where you can buy toys. A lot of our toy stores are gone. Malls are closing down. I know there's one place it seems like you go to a lot. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but you still have plenty of places where you can hunt for toys over there. Now it's Walmart and Target here.
Yeah, we don't have Walmarts or Targets, but we do have big supermarkets, obviously, where you get your food from. They tend to have a little toy section, but to be honest, it's never like a Walmart. It's never like a
Bob
Target.
Cena and Harry Hogan.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not where you would really go. So I don't tend to go to the supermarkets when it comes to the toy hunts. We used to have Toys R Us, of course, and then that sort of closed down around the world. I think apart from Canada. So, we had those, but they went in 2018. But yes, I think the store you're referring to is a store called Smith's. Smith's Toy Stores. They are, I believe, an Irish company that have a lot of stores in the UK in general. And what's great about them is they have like, a decent space. But if they were in America, I'm sure it would be 4 times as big. So they have a decent like shop, but it's still, I would say, for the amount of stuff they stock, quite limited space. And that means the figures have to be from the floor to the ceiling.
And that reminds me of old toy stores, man. I miss those days of going to Circus World or Toy World, whatever it was. And when we did our first toy with Super Nacho or Legion of Dork, we talked about toys. I should have had the screenshot here. It is a screenshot from in the 80s, and you could just see Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, everything top to bottom. And I mean, the toy hunts that's what got you going, right? That's what got your channel really starting to grow.
Definitely.
You took it to another level, honestly. And I mean, to still, to, like you said, you like to change things up, evolve it. And now that you did that, the variety on the channel has really taken off.
I think it's good and bad. I think that I had a big action figure community, which I feel is still definitely there because we still do that content from time to time. But as the watch-alongs have kind of become more of a focus and focusing in on like the live community, if you will, and the people that join us on those watch-alongs, and more than that, the pandemic, the lockdown, not just physically not being able to do toy hunts, has kind of meant that the channel was forced into evolving and forced to go in like different directions. And what I find now is that when I do a toy hunt, it doesn't quite have the same impact that it used to. And of course, YouTube's constantly getting more and more competitive. There's actual wrestlers now that are doing toy hunts. I know Ethan Page does toy hunts. I think the Major Figure Brothers do toy hunts as well. And that wasn't the case back in the day. You go back about 5 years, that wasn't happening. So I think that it was, I don't want to say of its time, but I don't know that the crazy kind of views that they were getting in the past. I don't know that we'd be able to kind of achieve that now just because it's such a different landscape. But this is why we were talking about earlier about how you've got to evolve, constantly be moving forward, constantly be looking for new opportunities, because it's, things that work now might not work for you tomorrow.
True. I hate to say anything positive came out of the pandemic because it's a horrible thing that people got sick and everything. But yeah, it did put a lot of people in away from the stores and into trying out YouTube. And everyone has a vlog. Everyone has a podcast anymore. Everyone has a show. And even more so now than ever, you got to be unique and you got to do something like this. And this is what I praise you for, Daze, so much. And I had to capture the screenshot. It's the energy. And you're telling me, I mean, it's the reactions. When you go to a reaction show, you don't want someone. I've seen reaction shows where people are just like on their phone. Someone's in, reactions. I mean, energy. Give these people some entertainment if you can. When something happens, I had a clip where you scream, oh my God, and stuff like that. All those little videos that you have showing your reactions, they're brilliant. I mean, it brings it all together. It's fun. It's entertaining, people. I mean, that's what you get when you check out Wrestling Daze. Now, here's another thing I want to talk. I just saw this video not too long ago. It came up on my, and that, how did you get that? I only have like 32, but I have a little, what he did was, and you explained it very well in the message too, that you just got them all in there. Now you wanted to have a rumble with them, but you didn't want to ruin your figures either. So you had to like put a thing down so they didn't get messed up. And I was like, how is he going to do this? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, how did you get, it's like 120 or something in there, you said? It's crazy. So, I mean, I wanted to try to recreate it here. And I have some wrestlers over here. These like 32 of them. And what he did is just knock them all down, see who wins the rumble. So let's have a rumble. Why not? Let's just mess up everything and have some fun with it. I'm going to put these aside because I'm going to show them off. So we're going to recreate the Daze figure rumble here with all these. So let's get Dick out of here. His name really is Dick. You know, his name's really Dick. I'm not trying to be an asshole. So we just kind of, get rid of as many as we can. We get the cage out of here and see who survives the rumble. It's gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. There's your winner, everybody. And now half of my figures have more scratches on them, and that's what you get. That's what you get. Everyone. So it happens, ladies and gentlemen. It happens. We're having fun with it. There you go. So, I didn't want to mess up a couple of these because I do want to show them off here in a second. The rumble was cool. It's I think you did another one of those or something, didn't you, on another stream? I think.
Yeah, I've done a few bits like that. Again, that one was actually more about trying to find a way of using the figures that I was getting, because when people have kind of been on a little bit of a journey with the channel, that first kind of clip that you showed of my first video, that in the background, that was every figure I had. That was it at the time. There was no box or anything. Any figure I had was on the shelf. So my journey of collecting Mattel figures has been very well documented, like during the channel's lifespan. And so as I was doing more toy hunts, as we were doing more figure reviews, it was growing and growing and growing. And you look at it and you go, again, talking about what's the opportunity here? What do I do with this? I can just leave them on a shelf gathering dust. Yeah. Or what do I do with them? And, that was an idea that came to mind. How about we put them all in a ring? We get the people watching to, before the rumble starts, actually put down in the comments who they want to win, awesome. And again, trying to find, like, how do you make it engaging? Well, that's a way of doing it. Like, they can make their prediction and then see if it's correct by the end of the video. And I enjoyed that. That was a positive, I think, on the journey.
I dig. So speaking of engagement, you guys in the chat, there is a poll up there. Make sure you let us know. I'm pretty sure what the answer is going to be. I'm more interested in what the second answer is going to be on your favorite promotion or what you like in wrestling right now. We're going to talk more about that here towards the end. But these are the AEW figures that I collected in 1985 and 86. I got all of them except a couple. The Bockwinkel, Brunzell, Scott Hall, and he had two variations of Garvin and Zbyszko. Here's one I didn't realize I had, and it's funny that we had Jimmy Garvin as the winner because, and I think she got a little, like, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's monkeypox or anything weird, but I left her in a drawer and I didn't realize this is Precious. I thought it was like a He-Man figure or something, but this was Precious that came with Jimmy Garvin. Wow. And I went back and watched an AEW review of these toys that I just found on another toy channel. Because I watch you now, I get recommendations of other toy channels. And I was like, oh, crap, that's Precious. I have that downstairs in a box somewhere. I mean, I had some WWE original ones back in the days, but I didn't keep those. I did a lot of yard sales and stuff when I was getting older. I was like, I'm not going to use these toys. Little did I know. Luckily, I kept some of the Star Wars and stuff. But even these little thumb figures from back in the days, I still have. So thumb wrestlers, if you can't. See, I'm still a little kid. We can have some fun with it. Yeah. So all kinds of characters. Now, I showed this picture before, and this is one of the first interactions I had with Daze on social media is I posted this, and there's a lot going on. I got a close-up of it here for you guys to see. This is a lot of my collection. Original magazines I was talking about before from back in the 80s. Here, let me go to the next two streams where you can see up close a little better of what we're talking about. the ice cream bar commercial from a magazine there with Jimmy Hart. That
That's
Jim
great.
Crockett Memorial Cup, that's actually a program from a live show that I went to. That summer was when they were doing the Jim Crockett tag tournament. Up top, there are real pictures I took from a show. I did get to see a scaffold match in the 80s. You see it right above there.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express. I could be wrong, but I saw a scaffold match. Road Warrior Hawk's one of my favorites of all time. The Road Warriors are always my favorite. And I remember you were just talking about this, how whenever you get a figure and they have like real cloth, I really like that better than the plastic gear and stuff. It really adds to me more value and realism to it.
Yeah.
And that he was always my favorite. So that's actually a real picture of Hawk and Flair when I was luckily being like the second row of a WCW show back in the day. And I talked to Daze about this too. Like the form factor of He-Man compared to these AEW figures were almost the same as you see there. Those are, side by side, same size, same articulation with both of them. Now, Hawk is probably the only realistic one when it comes to how cut they were. Like Ric Flair didn't have those crazy abs and stuff, but it's a toy from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Still to have some toys. You were just talking about what to do with them, how to use them, to be able to show these off and show people nowadays. There's a lot of Daze puns going on here tonight. And then the second picture with more of the figures here, you can see close up. And I didn't really have a lot of t-shirts, but this is actually a t-shirt from back in the day as a close-up from a show I went to. That's a Starrcade 87 t-shirt. And you see them on there, as well as the one with the War Games that summer. It was really popular because that was the first. That's what I used to do with my figures. I had 3 rings, and I would build them next to each other and I called it the 3-ring circus. Instead of War Games, I did 3 rings and then just had different stipulations in each ring to go.
That's
the
cool.
belt.
The AWA, it might just be worth, I don't know if people know, that was obviously a promotion that was around in the 80s that had a lot of superstars that went on to WWE. So it's where the Rockers came from, wasn't it? It was like
Hogan was even there before. Yeah.
Hogan was there. Mean Gene was there. I think Slaughter was in there, wasn't he, as well? Sergeant Slaughter. And so it was a big promotion. It survived. Am I right in saying like 89? I don't know if it made it to the 90s.
It could have. It was Greg Gagne and his family. Greg Gagne and his family started. It was in the Midwest in Minneapolis mostly. And then along with that, WCCW, which was World Class Wrestling with like the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, were Texas. So that's when the territories were big and it was all regional. Vince kind of squashed that at one point, but it's still alive. And that's why we talk about indie wrestling and stuff. If people think the territories are dead, just look at indie wrestling.
So your area, what was that receiving when you was young?
Mostly WWE.
Okay.
Or the WWF we would get. I remember, and here's a trivia question for you guys, and I'll ask Daze too. And I've talked about this before. I don't know if anyone remembers in my chat from my community. I do a thing called Game Night with my digital wrestling, with my eFed, where I wanted to get more interactive. So I do wrestling roulette. I tell everybody, put a number between 0 and 36 in the chat. Whoever gets the number, I go to a page and spin the wheel. They get to book a match for the next show. I do the ladder matches in the WWE 2K games were terrible. They would go up and fiddle with the briefcase for like an hour. And I'm like, I got to turn that into something. So I was like, let me think. Hangman. So I did it. There's a combination. It's a word combination that the people in the chat have to guess while this dude's fumbling around with the briefcase. If they can figure it out before the guy opens a briefcase, they win something. So they win a book of match as well. So I do wrestling roulette and ladder chat Hangman. And I have people give me ideas for games too, just to make it even more interactive.
Can I just ask for the people that are like coming in that might have come from like the Wrestling Daze channel, like how often is it that you do content and videos and all that stuff?
It used to just be once or twice a week. Health wise, I couldn't do more than that. And once I got better, I wish I could do it every day, but I still deal with some issues that I do every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday, I do a podcast at 9 p.m. with my wrestling friends that are in the business still. And then I do another digital one after that. And then every Saturday afternoon. So 3 times a week, I do what I call digital wrestling. It's eFed. It's WWE 2K22. And I'm going to try out the AEW game as well when it comes out and do that. You know, I try to give something different with it. And the thing is, it was real humbling for me because a lot of people did the same thing and it came and went. And then all of a sudden, these other people were starting to make their own channels because I had a channel than what I did. And I was like, it's very humbling that other people are doing it because of me, you know, and I'm blessed. That's why I want to do things like this now. I feel obligated to try to help people. I don't want to see them deal with the same crap I had to deal with. I don't want to see them make the same mistakes I did and have to learn the hard way. So if I can help people even just a little bit, I'm going to do it. The only last thing I want to point out here, that belt was a mail order belt from a magazine. And it's styrofoam and plastic, but it's built. It's supposed to be the big gold. The Charlotte. It's supposed to be the big gold belt, but
it reminds me a lot of the early WWF ones. They had ones that were very, very similar, but I can see that that's an AWA one. It's got it on like the side plate.
Thank you. No, that's it says N. It's an NWA. Yeah, it's kind of scratched off.
NWA. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I could see that it wasn't one of those, but it's very, very similar style, like the plastic and the kind of foam. And I had a few of the WWF ones when I was, I wish I still had them actually.
I can't justify.
I'm very jealous of that.
They're so expensive. That's literally 40 years. That's older than a lot of you guys in the chat. Most of these toys are, but that doesn't matter. I mean, and thank you, Legend Killer. That means a lot, man. If you guys like this show, make sure all you got to do is hit that thumbs up. Let me know. Leave comments. I enjoy bringing this stuff to you guys. Just moving along here to bust out a couple more. This is what Daze does. This is an idea of his watch along. The live chat is right on the screen. He is engaging in the chat. He has the results streaming at the bottom. I find it now, and this is me, I can't watch Raw or SmackDown without you on as well. I can't. I need it. So I want like you say about the interaction with people and having them input through. I mean, I've learned so much, and I literally, when I watch AEW Raw or SmackDown, Daze is on my computer. The show is on my TV, and a lot of times I miss a lot of the commentary because I want to hear what Daze is saying. And it's engaging. You've done that. You've grabbed this community. There's Nathan. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you, Nathan. And there's so many. If you go out there, you can find a ton of people that do this stuff, but you're not going to find someone like Daze. You're really not. You're really not. And he's a gem in the community. And I don't just say that just because. Now, this is something you were doing for a little while here. I really enjoyed it. I know you're mixing it up, doing some top 10s as well. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to learn, and I've told Daze in the comments repeatedly after watching these, I remember a lot of these, but I learned something from each of these videos that I did not know about their debut. This is brilliant, dude. I don't think too many people are doing this as a series. And I talked to Big Daddy Beard and the other guys, and I went into their page to try to help them set up their homepage a little better, like put your playlist on your main page, have an intro video so people know what you do and stuff. Daze got it on lockdown already. His channel is amazing the way it's set up. You can go there and literally see his watch-alongs, his uploads, the best of. They're all organized right there for you. These were great. Do you have a favorite out of these that you like the most that you did?
Yes. Yeah, the Edge one is my favorite. And the reason why it's my favorite is because I completely agree with what you just said in regards to like learning stuff. So I remember lots about how these people came in, but over, as you have slept since that's happened and they've come in. So, little details go missing and, unless you're kind of getting a bit of a refresh once in a while, there's lots of little things that definitely kind of slip your mind. And it totally had slipped my mind that Edge, when Edge comes out, his music starts with "You Think You Know Me," and it totally slipped my mind that was actually first heard in one of his debut vignettes. So before he even came out, there's this woman that does these like voiceovers saying, he lives in the shadows. He is the night, but he is also the day, and all that kind of stuff, right? Gobbledygook type of stuff. Yeah. But there's one bit where you watch one of the vignettes because they did several, and she just goes, "You think you know me," and it's exactly like his theme song. Yeah. And it is just clipped, and it is what they use going forward. But as soon as you hear it, it just punches you in the face. You're like, "Oh my god!" Like it's such this wonderful little surprise, if you will, So yeah, that was something. I mean, we've only done the ones that are on screen.
Yep, I had to add them. You kept doing more. I was like, God, crap, he did another one. I got to add this.
Yeah.
No, but I love it. But here's what it's all about, dude. Here's a guy that does some streaming, Beetleborg's Triple Beat here. He just checked out your show last week. He loves it, and he can't watch Raw or SmackDown. He's deaf cable, so that's what I was talking about earlier. If you can't watch the show or you want different commentary, that's what Watch Along is all about. Big shout out to you, Triple Beat. You're the man.
Yeah, shout out to you. I really appreciate that. And hopefully I do try to kind of bear in mind, because I have people that get in touch saying that they're truckers and they're on the road and they can't watch the show, but they want to feel like they're still part of something. And it's very much in my mind to try and get across like the details of, what they're wearing and, some of the moves that are happening, like who's winning the match and, things along those lines. So I do try to bear that in mind, but maybe don't always get it right. Maybe but yeah, I really appreciate that. So
well, here's the thing, man. If you sat there and just repeated every move, it wouldn't be as entertaining. You are covering all the bases. You're going to it's not easy. Guys, listen, he's watching a show and he's trying to tell you, he's painting the picture for you, what's happening on the show. And at the same time, he's engaging with the chat. It's not easy, but he nails it. What, Alexa Bliss Gamer, your favorite is Alexa Bliss? No way. What a surprise. I love it. Big shout out to you, Alexa Bliss Gamer. But it's something creative, something different that you started doing, and I dig it. Oh, this is, and I can't believe Balls Out happened to be right on the screen when I caught this in your super chat right there. Balls Out 199. But I wanted to catch a thing because the UFC has been huge for you, dude. I'm not as big in the UFC as I used to be, but your UFC streams are humongous. And like, people get mad because sometimes Daze is like, listen, guys, I'm going to do like SummerSlam. You did at UFC, and we're going to talk about Triple T in a minute here too. He did SummerSlam. So, you have to capitalize on what your bread and butter is. And I get it. And you're very knowledgeable about UFC. I got a lot of UFC fans that are in my community as well. If you guys want in-depth watch along for UFC, it's this guy once again. And then you did football days. I'm sorry. Football days as well. And you're kind of like a hiatus now until you can kind of do that as well, but variety. And that's a different channel. You opened a new channel for football days, right?
Yeah, we did a whole season of that last season, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, we're not looking to do it this year, but we will do the World Cup. But I think for those that join the watch-alongs are fully aware as to why we didn't bring that back. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't that it wasn't successful. It's everything to do with time. It's everything to do with, I think, if you really want to grow a football community, you need to serve that football community. And so you need to be doing news videos, transfer videos, kit reviews. You need to be doing regular watch-alongs. It needs 100% of your time. And I think what I have become guilty of is being a jack of all trades and slowly becoming a master of none. So, I used to do toy hunts and figures, and we would focus everything on that. And we had a great community. And then, for different reasons, as we said, as the channel evolves, as pandemics come in, you have to then go in a different direction. And so then we do in the watch-alongs. And then, on a Saturday, I was free. There's no wrestling on a Saturday. So we would start doing the UFC. And now we find ourselves in a situation where WWE have moved their big shows to a Saturday. So we now have big wrestling shows going up against big UFC shows. And then earlier on a Saturday, I've got a football channel that I need to try and service as well. So no word of a lie, I was finding myself at times earlier this year doing about 2 or 3 football games in the day and then watching UFC at night and then like trying to, find a way of getting some sleep in as well.
I was going to say, I just tell people, you don't sleep. He doesn't eat. He doesn't go to the bathroom. It's amazing what you do. You don't want to burn yourself out, Daze.
Yeah, but the problem with that wasn't so much burning myself out. I'm doing football, I'm doing UFC, but on a Saturday, I'm doing nothing for wrestling. So I'm underserving the wrestling community. So I might be dealing with a football community and a UFC community, but I'm not giving anything to a wrestling community. So it's so difficult to kind of keep that in mind. I definitely lost focus of that.
Well, I actually did burn myself out a few times, and because I tried to push myself to a limit because I wanted to give more content. I loved what I did. I loved that you guys did, and I tried to go live like 2, 4, or 5 times a week, and I got burnt out. I got sick, and I had to take some time off, which is okay. If you're doing a live streams, you start doing too much, take a little time off. Find your niche, find what you like to do, and how much you like to do it. There is no wrong way to do it. Wrestling Escape Pod. You do this with Tommy's Toy Travels. It's really fun. I got to really get to know Tommy on SmackDown, SummerSlam. I'm sorry. I knew that you guys have been doing this, but I haven't really caught a lot of them. But I watched SummerSlam with him and his mukbang, if you will, as he sat there and ate. And at first I was like, is this guy's like, he doesn't really care? Wait, that's his shtick. I love it. He's brilliant. I'm playing along. And he started laughing at my comments because I started playing right along. He has a drier sense of humor. Yeah. And it is, if you catch it, you will have so much fun with this dude. Like, how did you meet Tommy? Like, how did this start?
Yeah. I think there's people out there that misunderstand Tommy.
A lot. But he plays so well into that.
He plays very well into
with them very good.
Yeah. He is someone. Do you remember earlier when we were talking about how there's people out there that make content and they don't really care about what views they get? They just make the content that they want to make.
Yes.
That's Tommy. And I think, I don't know. I think people like that, they are living the life that they want to live. They are making the content they want to make. And they are, I suppose, of the belief that if it's something they enjoy and it's something that's entertaining to them, the audience will find them eventually, even if it's not, mass appeal. I mean, I know Tommy from watching his channel. Simple as that. Tommy had a channel. His channel did find its audience, and he's managed to get to like 80,000 subscribers. So I certainly don't want to downplay his achievements because massive channel, massive following, massive community, big videos on there, videos that have got like millions of views and everything. So he's a big time kind of content creator. But
he's awesome.
If you watched him on a regular basis, you kind of got to know his style, and his style was about literally just having fun and doing what he wanted to do. And he just was someone that I found so engaging as a result. You just never knew what he was going to come out with. I mean, he had puppets. He had a puppet of himself that he would like do videos with. And I think he was like an art student. So he really would push things like in a very interesting direction. And he did a whole series of videos where he would just go to Comic Cons and he would interview people at Comic Cons, but he would do it in a real, hello, my name, please tell me, hello. And he would like put the mic and they would be like, amazing. Hello. I couldn't do that. I could not be that awkward on purpose.
I respect it though. I definitely respect it.
Yeah, but he did it because he knew that he wasn't making like fun of them, the people or anything, but he knew that was the character he wanted to play. He's not like that in real life, but he went to conventions and he would play this character of like, please, how is your day? And he would like, and I mean, they would just absolutely crack me up. So I've watched his whole like YouTube channel. I've been a big fan of everything he did. I was a full-blown subscriber. Bought his t-shirt when it came out. I've got a signed picture of his on the wall. And basically I just hit him up. I was like, look, I really want to do a podcast. And I want to do it. I want to do it with Tommy. I mean, Tommy is someone that speaks to me that I was a fan of. I mean, I just couldn't think of anyone else I'd want to do it with. So I did it with him. And I will say that it's a challenge because Tommy, I think, has very much kind of left wrestling now, and he watches indie shows, but he doesn't really pay much attention to like WWE so much anymore. So trying to do a wrestling podcast with someone that doesn't really watch wrestling anymore definitely has provided some challenges, but this is where we've tapped into the community.
Yes.
And the community have like been able to send in videos of themselves. And now we're on the verge of the community being able to like call in. And to be honest, I really am starting to lean to the idea of just not doing wrestling on the Wrestling Escape Pod and really just letting people come on and talk about whatever they want to talk about. You can talk about anything but wrestling. We might try that for an episode. Come on and talk about anything you want, but it can't be wrestling.
It could be any type of entertainment. I mean, wrestling doesn't have to be. There's so many people that come on and tell you exactly what happened on the shows and stuff. A variety show that has something to do with wrestling is still good. And to say he doesn't watch all wrestling unless it's Daniel Garcia, because if you don't know, he has seen in person a 5-star match with Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
And if it's a Daniel, I started messing with him because he's like, if it's a Daniel Garcia match, it is a 5-star match. And he started taking it. I mean, his dry humor, his tongue-in-cheek sarcasm. And I started playing along. I was like, actually, he did lose these 2 matches. He's like, someone time out Blaised Radio in the chat. He is blasphemy. And I was like, I love playing along with this dude and playing off him. So definitely check out the Wrestling Escape Pod. They're going to get the community more in it, have some fun with it. It is really very a variety show if you can. And you see Daze's face over there in his little reaction. Of course, we got to talk about that lady in the middle a little bit more. What is your fascination with good old Linda McMahon? You're in love with her, aren't you?
I do love Linda McMahon.
She's amazing, right?
Well, I'll tell you why I love Linda, right? I'm not a political person. So
no.
Whatever a political stuff is, I'm not interested in that. But I think I always get asked, who's the most attractive wrestler? Who's the most attractive female wrestler? And all this kind of stuff. And that has genuinely never been something that has ever crossed my mind. I know it sounds crazy, and I know there'll be people that don't believe me, but I genuinely don't look at like female wrestlers that way.
No,
I don't.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
They don't want you to. Trust me, the diva era is gone. I mean, sure, you're on TV.
I hated it.
Me too. I mean, I don't want to objectify women.
Stuff I was not a fan of. I think. Do you know what it is? I think when I got into wrestling, you had Alondra Blaze, you had Sensational Sherry, you had Luna Vachon, you had these women that
badasses.
I don't need to be told that women are as good at wrestling as men. I don't know who needs that message.
No.
I don't need that message. I saw Alondra Blaze. I saw Bull Nakano, who was a fantastic. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how good these female wrestlers were that I was.
Sherry Martel, Moolah, Mae Young, all those from back in the day. They clown on Mae Young now because she was older, but she was a great wrestler back in the day. It's good to see them getting the shine they deserve nowadays as well. So I had to throw her up. Another one, speaking of ladies wrestlers, and I share this sentiment. Easy peasy. I love Asuka.
So entertaining. Not only that, but I think the way that she's so crisp in the ring when she is performing and doing throws. She does a takedown in particular where she will throw her opponent against the ropes. They'll come off the rope. As they're coming towards her, she will jump in the air, grab the arm, roll around, and get them into an armbar. Literally within less than a second. So in 1 second, you've got 2 people standing. About a second later, they're on the floor in an armbar. The fact that she is able to put that move on so fluid, so quick, and get into that kind of submission position, I just think, that's just one example of the kind of thing that this woman is capable of doing. She is an amazing striker. Everything she throws looks so crisp, so realistic. You can get lost in an Asuka match. I genuinely think she might be the best female wrestler that WWE have ever had, and that's a big statement.
Yep, I was gonna say if she's not in your top 5, it's okay, but she should be if you really give her the shot. And the language barrier, she's gotten a little better, but now her little noises and talking when I think she needs to be champ again soon for a long time because she's that damn good. I had to bring her up. So let's just real quick tag teams. No question in my mind. This is one of the segments we did on my WrestleSense podcast. We did greatest stables. We did a variety of different cage matches, which there was chicken wire matches and stuff back in the day. We covered all the steel structures of wrestling. We talked about greatest tag teams, and you guys in the live chat, play along. Who's your favorite? It doesn't have to be on this picture. Your favorite tag team of all time. Make no mistakes about it. If you talk to me, the Road Warriors, greatest of all time. On the mic, energy, in the ring, they were chiseled, amazing. I've seen them live. Road Warriors #1. A lot of people that like the Hart Foundation or Edge and Christian and all that. But if you could pick one, Daze, who do you like the best?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. To be honest, I'd have to go Road Warriors. I mean, you've got the infamous Road Warrior pop, which is, named that way because of the reactions that the Road Warriors used to receive. I mean, if you get a pop, if when you walk out, the crowd just go crazy and it's a massive reaction in the industry, that is known as a Road Warriors pop.
True.
And it's known that way for a reason, because the Road Warriors were so over. They were so popular. They were main eventing shows. I mean, it's weird to sit here now and talk about tag team wrestling really being at that level. AEW are doing a bit of work on that front with obviously FTR and the Young Bucks and everything, but still nowhere near where tag team wrestling has been in the past.
No,
So,
I think we might see with, and we'll talk about the changes in wrestling here soon. And we got a lot of, rock and roll, Dudleys, a lot of the normal top 10 that you got out there. But I like the Road Warriors so much that I literally hated Demolition because of the Road Warriors. And
really?
Axe grew up like 15 minutes from me. One of the Demolition guys used to train people right around here, and I didn't like them because they were a Road Warrior ripoff to me. But that was just me. That's just mine. They're not to knock their abilities or anything, but that's just me. So let's talk about making mistakes. Daze will type in names, and we've done this on my channel a lot. People still give me crap for things I've said wrong or done wrong, and I run with it. So once Daze typed Bibby instead of Bobby, and instead of going back and changing it, he ran with it, and it was gold and still is to call him Bibby. And then people come in that are new and they're like, it's Bobby, not Bibby. Why do you keep calling him Bibby? He's like, it's Bibby. It's brilliant. It makes it fun. Ezekiel, how you spell Ezekiel every time. And people are like, you spelled Ezekiel wrong. He's like, no, that says Ezekiel, just like
I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it.
But have fun with yourself, guys. It's Bibby, Wally. It's Bibby, damn it. All right, this is where it got educational. Here in Daze's chat, I learned about this is not an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
All right, people, don't call it. Wait, let me go back. I'm going too far. This is not an ice cream sandwich. This is a milk slice. And you ran with this one too. We had a lot of fun with this one.
We did, we did. It's crazy how things. It's just crazy how things resonate. And in isolation, looking at some of this stuff, you might be like, oh, okay, but in the moment when you can see that the live chat is on board with kind of where the conversation is going, you get a feel as to what the right direction is to pursue and what roads to kind of go down. And I'm also a big believer in not like forcing stuff. I mean, pretty much everything that, we've been talking about are things that have been accidents or they're things that just have come up in conversation and then you pursue it. I do like sticking on a subject. I feel like sometimes conversations can be a bit of a thread and you can like pull it and see where it goes. And I think I'm quite good at doing that.
Amazing at it, man.
But following, seeing where it leads.
This dude is underselling himself the entire show. This dude is amazing at what he does in so many ways. And that's why I'm so glad that I can show. I can't tell people, hey, go watch Wrestling Daze. I wanted to show them, give prime examples of why it's so much fun to watch it. The Okerlund position here. We talked about it. I brought it up. I heard it. And I was the one in the chat like Okerlund position. And I was also the one the first time in your chat where Face Brock came out dressed as the lumberjack. I said, please give us a tractor at WrestleMania. I was like, I was in your chat going, give us a tractor at WrestleMania.
If that's not confirmation, WWE are watching what we're doing. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. That's the power that we have now. Blaise.
I'm glad you brought
the impact that we have.
Yes, I'm glad you brought this up. He did the Olympics, and it was so funny because there was an advertisement somewhere, and it was a screenshot of synchronized swimming. You remember that? There was an advertisement. Someone advertised, I think it was a YouTube commercial on just a platform, and it was a screenshot of Daze when he did the Olympics. And God bless you for doing those nonstop. Basically, the Olympic streams were amazing. But I like to joke that whenever Brock walked out a couple weeks ago, that I envisioned Triple H going out and being like, "We're going to give you a whole bunch of money, but you know what? Come back, please. We'll give you the tractor. We'll give you the tractor for SummerSlam. Please come back." Because I imagine he wanted to have that at some point, and it was brilliant. So the Okerlund position, a throwback to the old days, basically. You have the gorilla position from Monsoon. I love this shot, and they did it a couple times. Please bring it back, Triple H. I know you're watching. But I had to at least mention the old school throwback stuff. And let's talk about the changes in wrestling as we end this segment. Big news. And I joke about it on the Wrestle Sense podcast. I think it was July 17th. I reshared my rant. I don't rant a lot. I don't like to rant, but I went on a rant, and I did throw a couple F-bombs out, too many, because I was very animated. I wanted the rematches to stop, the DQs and countouts. I wanted here's a guy at ringside. I wonder if he's going to interfere, two guys in a ring with a third. Oh, I wonder if a tag match is coming up, and it was so predictable. It's the same stuff every week. And I made sure to say, it's not because I hated WWE. I just wanted it to be better. And then lo and behold, right after that, this guy retires and leaves. Huh? Coincidence? Yes, definitely a coincidence. It has nothing to do with what I said. No one's watching except my community, which I love, you guys. But this change turned into what I did experience and everyone did on SummerSlam. So all I want before we leave this segment is your take on the changes that are happening right now. I'm excited. I'm invested in WWE again, but just real quick, your take on the changes that I'm not just giving Hunter, Paul, he's going to headline it, but so many other people. You got to give Nick Khan and Stephanie credit too, because they're approving it as well. They're on the top of the food chain, and they're giving the fans what they want: variety, fun. The banned words are disappearing. The promos are less scripted. All the things that I ranted about, I ranted on every one of those. And just give me your take on the focus on difference in WWE and the future of wrestling in a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose really the one thing I would say, the big message I would get out there is, if you aren't watching wrestling at the moment, and I would imagine probably everyone is that's, in this community that's watching this, if you're not watching, now is the time to get into it. Now is the time to jump back into it if you are a lapsed fan, because we haven't even begun to see change yet. I mean, we are seeing little bits and bobs, and we are seeing faces return, and that's exciting for people. And we are seeing like the structure of the show slowly starting to evolve, but you can still see more similarities than differences right now. So I feel like you can point to this, you can point to that, but I mean, look, Triple H has been doing this job a few weeks, like 3 weeks, something like that. So, we are, I would still say, ahead of where I was expecting us to be.
Me too.
We've still seen way more new things and people returning. And I think it feels to me like Triple H knows that those lapsed fans are watching now. People have heard the news. They want to know what's going on with WWE. So he knows that he hasn't got months to do slowly changing things. Like, I think Raw went from like 1.6, 1.7 million to 2.2 million on Monday. I mean, it jumped up. I mean, it might not sound like a massive number, but if you think from a percentage point of view, that is a big jump in ratings. That is like straight like this. So people are watching now. He needs to do stuff now, or at least be showing some different things now. And I think he's done that. He's absolutely done that. And probably most notably would be the returns. I don't know if you would have noticed some of the other differences unless you've been watching the show. True. And the way that the show is structured and the way that there's a lot more wrestling that's happening now.
There was a couple Raws that were like 13, 15 minutes of fighting in 3 hours a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy.
It's
but
ridiculous.
those days are seemingly gone. As you've rightfully said, rematches, we're just not seeing that as much. I mean, we can't say we won't see it, but it was getting ridiculous. I mean, I think, was it Brawling Brutes and New Day, I think, faced off in one form or another for about 15 weeks in a row. And it's like, once you get to that segment, you know what's going to happen, and you just sort of switch off. But there's no switching off right now. Everything that's, being done is keeping your attention. And as I said, I think the headline for me, if you're not watching wrestling now, get into it now, because now
it's going to make the other companies step up too. So I mean, like WWE starts doing things everyone's wanted. AEW's going to get better. Some of the other companies are going to get better, and Impact's doing great things right now too. But I like to look at the business aspect too of these things. So I get it. I understand why you show the promos for next week. I understand why you're building to a pay-per-view. I understand the name changes. As much as I don't like a lot of them, I understand the business aspect of it where they want to own the rights of the name. I still think Pete Dunne's name is going to come back. If any of them are, I think he's going to get his back. But if you're listening, Triple H and WWE, the next thing I want you to do, bring us back to traditional Survivor Series, not brand split Survivor Series. Get some teams starting here in the next month or so, and at least one traditional Survivor Series would be great. I had a couple other questions in that segment, but we've kind of hit all the points already. So I do want to move into the last segment, but before that, we got one more commercial break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I know Cool, and Cool's teaming up with a good balanced breakfast.
Teaming up with Mr. T cereal. It's getting on the team that knows how cool breakfast can be. You get a crispy corn taste with a touch of brown sugar. Teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T. Golden sweet crispy teas. One bite and you're gonna be eating with a team that's teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T.
Oh, wow. That's great. That is great.
You know what it makes me think of, though? I don't know if you've seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee Herman. And I remember in breakfast, and he has his breakfast, and he dumps Mr. T cereal over. He goes, I pity the fool who don't eat Mr. T cereal. Yeah, I always think of that as well.
Those commercials that you show, I mean, that last one in particular, I think they might be even more appealing to me because I will never have seen those because I'm in the UK and I'm fairly certain we would not have had that Mr. T. We have the A-Team. We know who these people are, but I don't know. I can't say that the cereal ever made it over here. So the fact there was a Mr. T cereal, I think is amazing. And just, I think for me as well, like just seeing what some of that older American culture is like, I'm so fascinated by all of that. Like, sometimes for me, and I suppose it works the other way as well. What's it like growing up in America? You know, my reference points are all from TV shows and movies. So what was it like in the 50s? Was it like I Love Lucy? What was it like in the 60s? Was it like the Happy Days?
There was more family dinners and get-togethers. There was the street lights came on and you had to come in from playing, stuff like that. But I mean, when I found these commercials were fair play, I mean, here's a little taste of a couple more. Check it.
Hey, B, no way a little dude like you is gonna change my ways.
It's time you were tempted with a taste of nuts and honey.
Hulk Hogan doesn't eat nuts and honey.
Take this. An unbeatable.
I think
Hulk Hogan doesn't eat nuts and honey.
That's a PG version, people. Don't take that to another level here.
And action.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Again, please. Again? Again.
Art thou bored?
Yeah.
Step into a Slim Jim.
God, she was the worst actress ever. Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? No, she's lucky he only said again, please.
The bad part about that is if we showed the whole thing, because I've shown these in my Legion of Dork podcast and stuff. I show him. He doesn't say "oh yeah" in the whole commercial, so it might have been "oh yeah." I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
It's amazing.
I was too focused on the bad acting from that woman.
Well, here's some
Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Here's this one more before we get into the final segment. This one I've showed a lot because nowadays this one would be the most expensive commercial on the planet because they have all these stars in here for this one and a bunch of bad acting. This is the Atari 2600.
Okay, Atari, let's see your best pitch.
You're out, Rose.
I quit soccer to play Atari.
You need more practice, Haley.
You can't keep me in here, Atari.
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set. Don't just watch television tonight. Play it.
Pele, you need more practice, Pele.
Pele.
Yeah,
I know him as
the American
Pele.
version. Yeah,
Pele. So yeah, I mean that was amazing. I quit soccer to play more Atari. That was great.
This is great. So I mean, what I have to do is find a completely legal YouTube to MP4 converter on the internet, and then I record them because you can't download them straight from YouTube. Record them over to a MP4 and save the videos, and on StreamYards just upload them. I literally have like a 1,000, 1,000, 100 of them over here just sitting waiting to be played. But before we get to the final segment, one more commercial. This is my commercial for the members of the channel out there, which I really appreciate. Couldn't do it without you. If you're not a member, I still love you just as much. You can hit thumbs up. You know, loyalty is currency as well. But if you can be a member, I have membership from as low as $1 a month, $2, $3, and then the main focus is $5 for my featured. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, let's give a shout out to all the members of the channel here on the Blaised Radio Network here on YouTube.
This is a recording.
Please hang up and try your call again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
We're sorry. The number you have reached has been disconnected.
All right, thanks all the members out there. You guys are amazing. That's my favorite beat that I've ever made because I used
You need like a best of your clips, like the music in the background.
I have
bum.
Check out
Check
Blaise Radio, SoundCloud.com. I have most
good.
of them on SoundCloud. I've taken some movie clips and made ones with some movie clips as well. But that one, a lot of people out there might not remember any of those noises from telephones because now they have cell phones. Or I always see that video where the parents are showing the kids a rotary phone and they don't know how to use it. So I love that. That's one of my favorite things. And I didn't mean to have this show this long, but we're having a good time. I enjoy it. We have our final segment coming up. Big shout out to my boy Riley. Well, if there's a belt in my hand, very creative name. I dig it. As being a new member of the channel, I appreciate you, my friend. And as I say, man, it's as low as $1 a month to become a member. And I want to give stuff back. We do prizes. I call LTD prize packs on my page where I give a T-shirt, a mug, and a sticker away to a member or someone lucky to win it. So I always want to make sure that I give back if you guys are given to me, or else I wouldn't justify. That's why I waited so long to have memberships.
You know, your membership, like, is there a way, if someone was watching and they were like, oh, I really like this channel, I really want to be a member, is there a way of them contributing ideas to the eFed? Is that something that the members do?
Yes, I do a member booked show every couple months where they book the matches.
Right.
They pick the matches. The members pick all the matches for the show. Above and beyond when I do the game night stuff where they can win the ability to book matches too. And I want to give them away. I know some people do giveaways and stuff like that. I couldn't justify people paying me money unless I was giving them something back more. And I know a lot of people like, you entertain us on a regular, and I love hearing that. It's great. But I'm a very humble dude, and it was a very long time that I studied, made sure I wanted to give worth to that. The featured members, if they have a channel, I feature their channel. So I've dropped their links a lot so people can see their channel. I want to do specials on them who have YouTube channels where I can help them set up their page and stuff like that. So I want to give back. NBA team, I have a jersey from every NBA team I've collected from eBay and stuff. Every NBA team, all 30 plus, I have at least one, plus a whole bunch more down here. I'm from Pittsburgh. We don't have an NBA team, but I am a Sixers fan. Philadelphia is the closest. Dr. J was my favorite, and Michael Jordan here you see as well, the greatest of all time. I don't use the GOAT term. I think it's kind of stupid, in my opinion. How can you be the greatest of all time? All time's not over yet. Plus, there's different eras. I don't compare the 50s and 60s to the 80s and 90s to compared to now. Sports have changed way too much. But a big shout out to the members. I really couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys are the reason I've evolved my channel, you know, because you guys have felt the need to be able to support a little bit. And I don't preach about super chats and stuff like that, but you can do that. Super thanks if you're watching the replay. You can click that button, and you can click the join button below if you want to be a member. And I do give back to my members. I try to as much as I can, and I want to more. The final segment now, which I like to joke around. If you know someone who says at the end of the day, they probably say it way too much throughout their conversation. I'm talking to you, New Yorkers and Bostonians. I love you, but it seems like a lot of them are at the end of the day, this and that, and at the end of the day again. One of my friends came to me after the first stream. He goes, I got another one for you. And we all say these. I'm not knocking anyone for saying these. When it's all said and done is another one that people say a lot. And the one that really bugs me, though, because it perturbs me. They say, not going to lie, or to tell you the truth. I'm like, what? You normally plan on lying to me? So what's that all about? You know, so I make fun, have fun with it. This is our final segment of the day. It's called At the End of the Day.
The chase is getting old. The trail is far beyond gold. The tale seldom told. To get the meaning, to take a meaning.
That's my brother's band there. He's a little screamer, singer, very good. I don't know if you saw what I put in the private chat, Daze, but if you check that out before we do the very, very ending, there's something in the private chat I put up for you. I want to do it at the end here. So this is at the end of the day. And before we get to the final thought, when you do your final thought, though, you have to start it out with at the end of the day and then say your final thought. But first of all, and this is probably the most important thing of the whole show. We've done a lot of this already. So, Daze, what advice would you give to a new or growing content creator?
Love it. Yeah. Okay. So I think you need to find the thing that really connects. What I would say is you need to, first of all, decide, we've already touched on it. Do you want to make content for you, or do you want to make content for others to enjoy? So are you going to make content you enjoy? It doesn't matter about the views. It doesn't matter if you don't get any subscribers. It's a hobby. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something that you want to do. If so, do it. Don't think about it. Start, make your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but get the ball rolling, right? That, I would say, is the easiest path to go down, is the not caring about the views, and who knows, it could blow up for you and it could be fantastic. Exactly. But if you get into it, not like really focused on that, then I think you'll probably have the most fun. If you are someone that really does want to reach an audience, build a community, and that is something that matters to you, so connecting with people really is important to you, then what I would say is that you need to try a few different things. When I first started, I tried doing review videos, didn't work. Tried doing prediction videos, didn't work. Tried doing discussion videos, didn't work. I did a toy hunt, my very first toy hunt, and my videos were getting about 20 views, if that. And then all of a sudden I did a toy hunt. I think it did about 1,000 views. Didn't know what I was doing. I can't tell you I put anything special for a thumbnail. In fact, I didn't. I wasn't even making thumbnails. The thumbnail was auto-selected by YouTube. Yep. So it wasn't the thumbnail. It wasn't what I was putting in a title or a description. There's no hidden share it on this website, you're going to get 1 million. That doesn't exist, to my knowledge anyway. But what it is that it's all to do with engagement. Someone saw it, watched it, stuck on it for a while, and all of a sudden YouTube went, oh, that's actually quite a more popular video than the others. And then it starts recommending it. So it's all to do with the algorithm and all of that kind of stuff. But you're not gonna hit the bullseye first time. You're not going to. There's an example I've got. A guy called Wrestle with Andy. Yes. Wrestle with Andy, a fantastic content maker. I mean, honestly, he is someone that has made videos that I have wanted to make, and I've never been quite sure about how to do it, how to tackle the subject. He made them. I watched him. I was like, that's it. He has made the video I wanted to make, and he's nailed it, and it's brilliant. And he got next to no views for it. And I mean, like, I wanted to help him. We ended up doing a video together on figures. That didn't really help his channel, to be honest. I mean, it got a few more eyes to it, but didn't really do it. He didn't blow up. He needed to find that thing that was going to get him to the next level. And he found it by doing career retrospectives. What he will do is he will go, The Rock. Okay, here's half an hour on everything you need to know about The Rock. Here's him arriving, his best matches, his best promos. Here's what he's doing now. And he does those kind of videos. And his channel now is blowing up. He is exploding. So experiment, try different things. Don't get disheartened. persevere, grind, know that it's going to be hard, know that it could take a long time, know that you're not alone, know that there are people out there that have spent years looking for that thing that is going to get them to that next level. But once you find it, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase said to Stone Cold, it's going to take you a long time to get over, but once you're over for good.
Yeah.
And it's the same with YouTube to a degree. It's going to take you a long time to find people and connect, but once you found them, once you found that thing that works and brings the views in, you're good.
That's well said, perfectly said. I mean, I have a couple of things that made me think of that answer. And big shout out to Corey Quinn. He's from the UK over there. He does a digital wrestling show. Shout out to you, Corey Quinn. I love that. It's just meeting it. I mean, Corey, you've got to go back and watch the rest of this show. I don't preach that too much to people, but if there's any show that you should go back and rewatch, it's this one. We've had such great conversation, such great advice and stuff, and we're not done. We still have one or two more little things to do. But one thing you brought up was analytics, and I always tell people, study your craft. If you're going to do this and really do it on a regular basis, find out about things. And yes, the main analytics, the likes, the views, the subscribers. But one I found out that was really important is average watch time. And I studied this a lot. You can't see other people's average watch time, but when I worked at Verizon, they put a door counter in, and I was mad at the DMs for doing this. I was like, why would you do that? We're gonna have a family of 10 come in and buy one cell phone, and you're gonna hold that against me. My bonus is on people coming in and out. And we're in a mall. People come in and out just to look. If they don't buy, now I'm gonna lose money because of that. And I mean, yeah, I understand it's supposed to get us to sell more and stuff, and they said, well, we're not looking for 50%. We're not looking for 30%. We're looking for like 15 to 20% of people that actually come in because we use all that. So if your average watch time's over 10 minutes is amazing, because you got to think a lot of people pop in and out of YouTube shows. They come in, they leave, they can't, they work, they got jobs, they have families. So, I mean, and some people started telling me how many, when I saw mine over 15 minutes at first, I'm like, that analytic means more to me than a lot of other ones, because you're keeping that person there. You're doing something right. Troxel, I know that one line is your go-to line. You said that earlier, one of my pet peeves. I know your go-to phrase, at the end of the day, not going to lie. I hear it a lot, and it's all in fun. We're just jabbing. But yeah, the average watch time is a very crucial analytic that people don't have in public. That is very important. And make sure I have a Nightbot in the live chat. I call him Johnny 5 from the old movie. No disassemble. Johnny 5 will drop you my links, my social media, and everything else. And if you're digging this guy, which if you're not, you're doing it wrong. If you're not subscribed and watching Wrestling Daze, if you're a wrestling fan, UFC fan, soccer, football fan, anything, this guy has it. And we've preached it here throughout this and show why you should check him out. His information is in the description of this show as well. So make sure you subscribe, check him out. And just like I said earlier, it's your decision. If you like it, like it. If you want more of it, subscribe. It's as simple as that. People make it very difficult, but it really isn't. So the last thing, and I kind of know what the answer of this is before we get to the final thought, is what's next for the Wrestling Daze channel? I mean, your normal schedule, or you got anything new planned or anything like that?
I'm glad you know, because I don't.
I normally say, like, people on interviews say, where can they find you? Well, you can find him on the Wrestling Daze channel. The Twitter and everything's in the description, so we don't really have to go over that. But is there anything special that you're planning? You got to go, but I know you're doing the top 10s instead of the debuts and stuff. You're going to do more of the top 10 type stuff, or you can find him every Monday night on Raw, every Friday night for SmackDown. And I love you doing the reviews right afterwards, and Wednesday nights on Dynamite, at least, and the UFC pay-per-view. So I'll answer most of the question for you.
Well, to be honest, I mean, there are things coming up. The things that are coming up are the World Cup. I'm passionate about that. The soccer in the UK, or football as we call it. I know you guys don't call it that. It really is like a religion over here. It's all, it's everywhere.
The biggest sport worldwide. Let's not make mince words about it. Soccer is the biggest sport worldwide.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely massive, and the World Cup, I think, means a lot to a lot of people. And I think if England were to do well in that, that's something that I would want to be right there for. I mean, that is something I will watch anyway. And so my feeling on it is, if I'm watching it anyway, I might as well stream it. But the truth of the matter is, we've spoke a lot about staying focused and not like being a jack of all trades, a master of none. I know I need to focus on wrestling, and I know that I need to drill down into that. So, you know, we've tried debut videos and they were doing well. They started to tail off a little bit, but I think I was dropping one every day. I think I probably might have burnt people out. So we'll still do them, but maybe it'll be once a week, twice a week, something like that.
Once a month, something like
something like that. And then like we've been doing like top 10 videos, you know, we will continue those. Maybe they won't be every day. They'll go down to once a week as well. I think the future of the channel is not really for me to decide. It's for people out there to decide. It's down for them to provide the kind of feedback of, can you do this? Can you look at this? Have you thought of going this way? So I think for me, the answer would be definitely the World Cup at the end of the year, definitely more focus on wrestling. The actual specifics of that content will always be driven by the community.
That is unreal. And that's like I've been telling you guys, and I could easily write a book on what this guy's been doing that's working, and it's great. But to be able to show it live is something else. Here's a question that, and some of the people in the chat might know, I was trying to say this earlier and I skipped over it. The first wrestling match I've ever seen in person is Pedro Morales and Rocky Johnson. That was in a little high school gym. My dad took me. Andre the Giant and Jimmy Snuka headline that show. I won't forget that. And this is mid 80s. So we're talking an Hispanic and an African-American opening the show. Rocky Johnson, who's a legend, Pedro Morales, who's a legend. And back in those days, they didn't get as many opportunities as they do nowadays. And those are two of the greatest to ever step in the ring. And I'll never forget Pedro and Rocky, first two. And for those who don't know, if you're under a rock, Rocky Johnson, his son is a little famous as well, The Rock. Do you remember the first wrestling match you've ever seen? Even if it's
live.
on TV or live.
If it's on TV, then it's, I think, is going live. To probably be the Head Shrinkers against High Energy, because the first show I recall seeing is Survivor Series 92. And I can't remember if they're the first match or the second match, but I'm sure Head Shrinkers against High Energy. It's crazy because it's not a match that really resonates or really really means anything. But I tell you, there's a match on that card that blows my mind even to this day, and it's Big Boss Man against Nails. For those of you that have never seen it, Big Boss Man is a police officer character, and Nails is a prisoner character. And the whole story is that, like, the prisoner is saying that he was being beaten up by the police officer. The police officer's like, you know, you're a criminal and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, you're lying. I never beat you up and all this kind of. And it's, you know, as a kid, you watch it and you're like, you believe it's real. I believed it was real. And you're like, hang on. Let me get my head around this. There's a police officer and there's a prisoner, and they're going to sort their differences out in the ring. And not only that, it was a nightstick on a pole match. So the first person to get a nightstick was legally allowed to use it. And you're like, hang on, so if they get that stick, the first one to get it is allowed to start beating the other person with it. And you're like, I don't know what this is, but it is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And then also on the same show, you've got Undertaker on that same show. I mean, you can imagine, like, we're talking 92 here. It's WWE. It's larger than life. I mean, I should imagine that kids probably feel the same way about it now if they're uncertain of whether it's scripted or if it's real or whatever. But Survivor Series 92 is, to my knowledge, the very first wrestling show I watched. And that was my cousin that showed me that. I was around my Nana Granddad's house, so I never watched it live or anything. My cousin was like, check this out. Yeah. And mind blown.
Big Boss Man to me will always be Big Bubba Rogers, because when he was back in the WCW and the NWA pre-days, Big Bubba Rogers in a dress shirt was like an enforcer, and he would come in and do that Big Bubba Slam, which turned into the Boss Man, rightfully so, because back then it was about characters. Sergeant Slaughter, you had the fireman, you had the Sheik, everyone was a character. Some of that was taken a little too far back in the day, but we don't. That's one thing. I don't have written rules for my channel, but religion and politics are not to be. I want to welcome everyone. I don't care what you believe in. That's fair. You believe in whatever you want, but I don't want to alienate anyone. I don't care who you love, what you think about, what you believe in, who you worship. That doesn't matter here. You got to leave all that at the door and just have fun on the channel. Troxel, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Drop a little $1.99 donation. I appreciate you, my friend. Every little bit, I tell people too, every little bit you do put in this channel goes right back into it. I just recently finally got rid of this little laptop that couldn't handle stuff. I was doing an NFL stream, and someone rated my channel. His name's Tom Grossi, and he is a huge sports content creator, and 200,000, I don't know, I mean, tons of subscribers, and he dropped in, and my channel just went from 30 or 40 people to 200 some people, and it crashed my computer because I was going, it's not OBS, it's XSplit, which is just like OBS. It's a cheaper version, and it crashed it. I was like, oh no. I was like, please subscribe. I'm typing in the chat. I was like, oh, stay around, because I had so many people that crashed it, and I was opening a pack of cards during halftime. I had football cards, and I opened wrestling cards on the stream and stuff. It just blew me away. He has 323 is Tom Grossi, big time. Oh, look at Edge is here. Wow, we got a very famous wrestler in the building. Welcome, Edge.
He heard about the debut video that I was talking about earlier, and
I do a little segment when I talk about, like, I see on a stream when I look at my phone, it's like, on this day in 2018, this movie debuted, or on this day in 1985, on this day, I always say, and I tell people this album dropped, or this movie came out. So I like to sing a lot. I like to sing and make fun of myself. Why not? Like I said at the beginning, and I'll reiterate it now. Whether you're laughing with me or at me, you're smiling, and that's all I want to do, is bring smiles to people's faces if I can. So now it's time for At the End of the Day. Now, at the end of the day, we already pretty much covered a lot of these, but this is the final thought. What what you want people to take away leaving. When I was taught, what you remember from shows and stuff is what started, and what ended is normally the things that you're going to remember the most. Yeah, blazioki is what they call it when I sing like a moron and try to make fun of myself. I have fun with it, my friends. Final thought from Wrestling Daze. You got started with At the End of the Day.
At the end of the day, I would say the one thing I want people to take away from this is really just how fun you are and how fun this channel is. And I think some of the work that goes on that is, just incredible. I mean, I'm not lying. I'm sat here and I'm like, man, your advert, I've got a list of things that you've done that I'm like, that's amazing. The members commercial is amazing. Adverts and showing adverts is amazing. Your little sound box that you said was like $8 is amazing. The energy that you bring is amazing. Like the e-fed stuff that you do and the stuff.
That's what brought people together. You had toys. I had e-fed. I brought people together that way.
Yeah. So I think for me, the one thing I'd want to take away is I would want people to, if they are like new to the channel, maybe they stop by just to check out this interview or something, that they really do consider like hitting the subscribe, joining you for, your e-fed and kind of getting more involved in what you're doing over here, because there is some amazing originality going on over here. There's some really impressive stuff. Your graphics as well. I mean, yeah, your music and everything. Honestly, I'm like,
finally using my degree. After 30 years, I'm using my damn college degree. I'm a marketing major, advertising, graphic designer, and I love this stuff. It's been so therapeutic to be able to bring people together. And that's why, that's what this guy does too. He brings people together. He has fun. And like I said, if you're not subscribed to Wrestling Daze, you're doing it wrong. And if you want to, if you like what you saw today, subscribe, join the channel, be a part of the fun. Scrolling at the bottom is some of the times and days that another Daze pun there. We got Daze puns today. Juniper, thank you so much for your donation. You are too kind. You don't have to. You really don't have to. I will use it in the channel. I appreciate it, and I'm humbled by the amount of people that we had show up. And that's why I hope I didn't bother anybody by tagging you guys all week. Alexa Bliss Gamer, all these other guys like Austin and Legend Killer. I've gotten to know you guys so much in the chat. I feel like you're like my friends. Like for the past 2 years, so many of you guys, I stop in there and they say hi to me. I say hi back to them. And I really wanted you guys to get to know me a little better, because I have tons of fun. Sonny, you're another one. I feel like I've known you half of my life just by watching Wrestling Daze. Dave, and all these other names that I saw come in here. That's why I tagged you all throughout Twitter. What I did was I looked at when Daze posts on Twitter and whoever was liking it on a consistent basis, names that I remember from your chat, who was retweeting it. And I was like, these are guys that invested in him. I want to make sure they check this out. I mean, Edward, you're another one. Definitely. I appreciate you. Everyone is here. That is so awesome. I appreciate hearing that because I don't want to bother people. I'm the type of person that really wants to ask. And when I asked him for an interview, I was not expecting a yes. I really wasn't. So bless you, man, for letting me bring you on and talk shop for a while. It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Yeah, no, I've absolutely loved it. I mean, like, this has been, honestly, I'm so comfortable and relaxed and just chatting away, and it just goes into like a conversation then, doesn't it? So it's like,
I wanted an hour interview. We're at 2.5.
But that shows, doesn't it? I mean, I think if you having fun and you're engaged in interesting conversation and you're hopefully helping people or entertaining people. Yep. I mean, it make no difference to me, mate. You know what I mean? It's a Sunday night. So 2.5 hour stream thing that we end up doing. Brilliant. I just hope that people have enjoyed it. So
I get emotional. And I always say this too. A lot of my community, physically disabled, mentally disabled, whatever it is, they're not drawbacks. They're superpowers. You just got to find a way to overcome it and do something good, have a good time, no matter what. I mean, I know people that live stream that, they don't talk as well. They have a weird voice. They think they look different. They're in a wheelchair, whatever it may be. I've seen these people stream and that touches my heart to see people do that. And I want to help people out there grow their channels. And I've always said, put unity back into the community. And that's what I want to do as I do this. But it's time to say our goodbyes, and there's only one way to do it. And I thank all you guys and gals out there, all you dudes and dolls that have stopped by and hung out. Hopefully you subscribe and you keep on showing up. I'll see you guys I always like to say, see you in my streams, or peace and positive vibes at the end of the show. But there's only one way to end this show. And me and Daze are gonna serenade you guys just for one last second and thank you. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Bye for now.
Get blazed. Get blazed. Blade.